Now, as of right now, there's currently 10 NHL teams in the league that are yet to win a Stanley Cup, and I can't let that last much longer. I need to take over as GM for all these franchises, and I need to win them all some Stanley Cups. And it looks like the first team we're going to be starting with is going to be the Nashville Predators. Nashville, it's time for me to take over as GM and then win you a Stanley Cup. And then after we do that, I'm going to be taking over these other 9 franchises, and I'm going to be winning them Stanley Cups as well. So as we all just learned, the Nashville Predators is going to be the first franchise we're taking over. Now this team has some decent pieces. Ryan O'Reilly, Philip Forsberg, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault. I can work with these guys. Of course, Luke Evangelista, we can work with him as well. When it comes to the defense, I could use a little bit of work, but the left side really doesn't look too bad. And then in between the pipes, I know we can trust goaltending. UC Saros is an 88 overall, so we're fine when it comes to that. However, we do need to make a couple trades, and we all know which player I am trading first. Kemmel, say goodbye, we're shipping you out. This is one of those videos where I can't risk having a guy like Kemmel on the team. I just know he's not going to develop. I know he's not going to be able to score goals. Let's just move on from him really early. Alright, so here's what I'm looking at. Kemmel and Perbix sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We bring in Denton Matejchuk, who's going to help the right side. We also bring in Voronkov, who's going to help the right side. But do I have to give up Perbix in this deal? Because I probably don't have to give up Perbix, and if I don't have to, I don't want to. So we're going to be holding on to Perbix, and instead I'm going to trade a different defenseman. Because as of right now, Perbix is one of our best right side defensemen, so maybe we shouldn't trade him. And instead, I could give up this prospect who actually has slightly more trade value. He's 22 years old and only a 78 overall, so I can't imagine he's going to be turning into a star. So let's do this deal right here. Now we're actually going to make one more trade here, and it might not make a lot of sense trading a guy like Ryan O'Reilly away, but you have to trust the process. He's an 87 overall right now. He's 34 years old. He's only going to start regressing, and when he starts regressing, his trade value is going to drop. So how about I just capitalize on his trade value right now, and we bring in Trevor Zegras and Owen Tippett. Owen Tippett can be a good goal scorer for us. I'm just not sold on his contract. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to develop into like an 86 or 87 overall player, so maybe we actually don't bring Owen Tippett to the team. And you know what? That actually might be it for the best. Tyson Forrester, I feel like you make a bit more sense. You're also on a cheaper contract, so how about we do something like this? Obviously, Philly's not going to be accepting this until I throw in a couple draft picks. So here's a second rounder from the Minnesota Wild. Hopefully that makes the difference. They're saying no, but all we have to do is throw in a 7th round pick and we can get this deal done. So here's a 7th rounder from Nashville, and just like that, Trevor Zegras and Tyson Forrester are both joining the team. So here's what we're looking like for season number 1 with the Nashville Predators. Now, truthfully, I don't expect us to win a Stanley Cup here in year number 1. However, I think we're building a good foundational core, and within a matter of 3 seasons, we should be able to take one home. Before we simulate this season, though, Trevor Zegras does need an extension, and this is actually going to be a very good deal. We're going to be locking him down for $5.6 million for the next 2 years. Actually, I'll make that 5.7 for the next 2 years. That's going to be a great deal for Zegras. So now that Zegras is signed, there's only 2 more things we have to do. Of course, one of those is simulate up to the trade deadline, and then the other is you subscribing to the channel. Are you still a part of the 55% people that aren't subscribed? Why are you doing that? Why aren't you subscribed to the channel? You know it makes for a better viewing experience, so hit the button down below right now. Now, moving into this season, I didn't expect the Nashville Predators to completely take over the league. We're at least 2 seasons away. However, I'll take 9th in the entire league, a 35-21-6 record. We're not looking too bad. 3.32 goals per game is great. 2.89 allowed could be a little bit better, but the team's looking pretty solid right now. Steven Stamkos is leading the way with 54 points, Roman Josi 54, Philip Forsberg 49 points. I think what we could really use right now is another elite sniper. Although we have a handful of great pieces here and we have amazing depth scoring, we could use another sniper, specifically on our bottom 6, because the bottom 6 does need an upgrade. Meanwhile, UC Saros, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. You have some incredible numbers right now. So we will do some buying. We're looking to bring in either a sniper or a power forward, and Alex Tuch does make a little bit of sense if we can get a deal done. So how does a 1st and 2nd round pick sound for Alex Tuch? I think this could be a good deal. We should have more than enough money to bring him back to the team. I don't really want to do too much more than this. How about I give you a 3rd rounder from the Seattle Kraken? They're still saying no, but all they want now is a 7th round pick. So Alex Tuch, welcome to the team. This is going to be a really good deal for us. More than likely, you're going to be playing some top 6 minutes, and I think you can be an amazing top 6 player for us. Now, I think that's likely going to be the only deal we make here, because we gave up a handful of assets there, and I don't want to give up any more than what I just gave up. Except Tolvanen kind of makes sense. How much do you want for Tolvanen? A 2nd and 3rd rounder? I think we could probably do this. Now, I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to give up a couple prospects. I'm going to give up these 2 prospects right here, and then maybe a 6th round pick. I think that would be enough to get this deal done. But it looks like Tolvanen's already been traded, so we're actually not doing that. So since Tolvanen got traded, Alex Alex Tuch's going to be the only pickup. I think we're still in a good spot though. All right, so Alex Tuch, I see you're not interested in signing an extension. Please be less than $10 million. I can work with this. I was honestly concerned he was going to be looking for like 12.5 million, but it looks like we're going to be able to lock him down for around $8 million. I'll do 8.1 for the next 5. That's not the worst contract in the world. Would have I preferred a bit cheaper? Yes, but it could have been way worse. Okay, Alex Tuch is going to make this difficult, isn't he? So he's rejecting the contract we just gave him. I refuse to lose you into free agency. So if I have to pay you $9 million, I guess I'll pay you $9 million. We have to get something done here. 9.2 million. I'm not giving you that. We will save a little bit of money here. I'll do 8.5 for the next 6 seasons. You better accept that deal. I understand you're not interested in extending with the team right now, but we need to bring you back. We can't afford to lose you. So hopefully Alex Tuch is smartened up and he's going to be willing to return to the team. Now, is that going to be the case? Alex Tuch, what are you thinking? It looks like he's returning, and we just shut out Seattle 3-0. Yeah, this team's ready to take over. After picking up Alex Tuch, we took the next step, finishing 7th in the entire league, a 46-26-10 record. I don't know if we're quite ready to compete yet, but I think this team will put a lot of pressure on teams. Alex Tuch's going to lead our team in scoring with 68 points, Roman Josi 67, Philip Forsberg 66. So I am a little bit concerned with our scoring numbers right now. Like, we don't really have one top guy that can lead the team right now. Tuch, what'd you do since joining the team? You had 8 goals and 10 assists for 18 points in 20 games, and you were plus 11 as well. Yeah, that's been an amazing pickup for us. When it comes to the bottom 6 scoring, at least we have guys scoring on the bottom 6. And when it comes to goaltending, UC Saros is our man. 39 wins, 8 shots, a 916, a 268. Now, I'm not saying we can't win a Stanley Cup this season. I just don't think it's our time quite yet. But if we want to win a Stanley Cup in the very first season of this video, I wouldn't be against it. So Nashville, let's start this video off with a bang. 16-0 in the postseason. We'll win a Stanley Cup in year number 1, and then we can move on to our next team. We're off to a great start as we're winning game number 1. Now let's win game number 2. Hold on now. Is Nashville actually doing something? Is this team really going to go on a run? It doesn't look like it. We've dropped back-to-back games now. Whatever you do, do not make it 3 straight losses. I don't think I can handle that. We're winning game number 5. Now we're going to close out in game 6 so we can move on to the second round, but it would never be that easy. Why would it ever be that easy? We have to take on the Minnesota Wild in game 7. In game 7, in order to make it to the second round, we're off to a great start, picking up back-to-back goals in the first. Moving into the second, it's going to be a scoreless one. Can we double down the third period? I want a bit more offense, and it looks like we're getting that. Steven Stamkos is picking up an empty net goal. UC Saros got the shutout, and we're off to the second round. So that is certainly a start I can work with. We got past the Minnesota Wild, but now we have our toughest task, the Colorado Avalanche. Because Colorado has Nathan McKinnon, they have Cale Makar. You know that offense is going to be flying, so we need elite defense. We're dropping game number 1, not a great start. We're dropping game 2 as well. Luckily, we're winning game 3, but we're down 3-1 the series. I can't imagine the Nashville Predators making the comeback here, so we're likely falling eventually, but not in game 5. Maybe we'll fall in game 6 unless we're going to make some crazy comeback, but that's not happening. We're dropping that one 6-0, and we're going to be eliminated in the second round. So that was certainly a tough exit right there. However, I don't think anyone really expected us to win a Stanley Cup in year number 1, but after we make a couple moves over the offseason, well, we'll be in a better spot, and then we'll be ready to win. Okay, I'm sorry, but ain't no way these boys got the first overall pick, brought Matthew Schaefer to the team, and then went on to win the Stanley Cup. That's crazy work. I mean, at the end of the day, things could have been significantly worse for us. Like, we could have missed the playoffs and traded our first round pick away, and then we would have got absolutely nothing. Voronkov, Stamkos, yeah, that's not going to be a second line next season. -10 and -8. We can basically put the loss on you guys. You two guys were the reason that we lost in the second round. UC Saros, the numbers weren't the greatest, but we saw Voronkov and Steven Stamkos' plus-minus. Those boys were doing anything but helping keep the puck out of the back of the net. Alright, so as of right now, this draft is absolutely cooked. Like, there is nothing out there. So I'm going to trade basically every pick away so I can get a second and third rounder from the Winnipeg Jets. Now I'm going to package those picks up with something else, and we're going to make a big splash. Now, it turns out we have to flip a couple more draft picks. Now we're getting a second round pick from the Seattle Kraken. They're saying no, but I'll throw in some 7th round picks. Now, once all of these deals are complete, we're going to be making a huge splash. We're going to be bringing a superstar sniper to the team, and that player is coming from the Utah Mammoth. So here's what I'm thinking. Dylan Guenther, I think you should join our team, and I'm willing to give up 3 second round picks and Nick Hague, who has a lot of value. Is this enough? They're going to be saying no. I'll throw in a 3rd round pick, but if they say no to this, I might have to trade next season's 1st round pick. Please don't say no to this, but it looks like they are. All right, I guess we're trading a first round pick. I didn't want to have to move our first round pick for next season, but it appears that's going to be the case. Nick Hague and a first rounder is being sent over to Utah. Dylan Guenther, welcome to the team after I throw in a couple of these second rounders. So here's the 55th overall. Hopefully that makes the difference. They're saying no. I'll give you a future second round pick. Here's Seattle's. Is this going to be enough for Dylan Guenther? Okay, this is crazy. There is no way this package right here isn't enough. Just look at the trade values. I'm giving up way too much here. Now we got fleeced. Plain and simple. Also, if you're wondering why I traded so many draft picks, let's just take a look at this draft class. Here's all the top prospects. Like literally nothing. Carson Dykert, I know for a fact you don't have medium elite potential. Yeah, there is nobody good here. Now after picking up Dylan Guenther, we still have money to work with. Justin Barron, I'll bring you back to the team for $1.8 million for the next 2 years. You can be a third pairing defenseman for me. Eric Holla, more than likely you're leaving. Tyson Yost, you're going to be leaving as well. And truthfully, I think all these guys are going to be leaving unless they sign two-way contracts. Now, before we go out and sign a bunch of free agents, it's probably important that we give a couple guys extensions. Denton Mateychuk being one of them. He's our number one right defenseman right now. He needs to be paid accordingly. And this is actually going to be a very good deal. 4.9 for the next 5. I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. Voronkov, how much are you looking for? You want 5.7 million. I guess I can give that to you. You're an 85 overall. You're a decent enough player for us. Here's 5.3 million. Luke Evangelista, I don't really want to give you too much money here. You're kind of a bottom 6 player for us, and I'm not doing $5 million. Tyson Forrester, you better not ask for $5 million either. Okay, both these guys will be leaving the team after this season. Nick Perbix, you're a stick on the ice legend, so I have to keep you around, but I don't know if I want to do 3.6 million. Right now, everyone's looking for a lot of money, and I'm not really willing to give them a lot of money. Like Matt Wood, I can do 1.5 million. That's a reasonable deal. Now, last season, I tried to trade for Tolvanen, but we weren't able to get a deal done because he already got traded. Now I'm bringing him in for 4.4 million, or at least he'll join the team if he accepts that contract. Outside of that deal right there, I don't really want to give anyone too much money. Bobby McMahon, here's $2 million. You can be a fourth line centerman for me. Vladimir Tarasenko, I actually think you could be a very good bottom 6 player, so here's 2.9 for the next 2 years. You're going to be an elite sniper for me. And then I think we'll finish it off with one more free agent signing, and then I'm going to go make a trade. Mikheyev, I don't really think I want to bring you to the team. Robbie Fabry, I can do 1.1 million. Robbie Fabry's coming in for 1.1 million. He can play some fourth line minutes. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Luke Evangelista, Nick Perbix, we know both you guys aren't coming back to the team next season, but Braden Schneider can be brought in for this season, and he can be brought back for next season. We have to throw in a 7th round pick, but I'm willing to do that. We could use another great defenseman on the team, and I think he can fill that role for us. So here's a 5th round pick as well, and Braden Schneider, welcome to the team. Or at least you're going to be joining the team if you accept a reasonable contract, because I actually have no clue how much money you're looking for, and 6.7 million, it's quite a bit, but we can probably get this done. Also, why is he playing for the Brandon Wheat Kings? Like, what are we talking about here? Instead of playing in the AHL, you're going to go back to the WHL. I mean, I guess I gotta respect it. Last season, the Nashville Predators saw a lot of success, so we decided to build on that success in the offseason. Dylan Guenther was a huge pickup. Vladimir Tarasenko is going to be a great player. Tolvanen, I don't really know if I want you playing 4th line minutes. Like, there's actually a possibility I don't play you this season. Like, I'd rather have Bobby McMahon on the 4th line over you. So yeah, Tolvanen, even though I gave you $4 million, you're going to be a healthy scratch. When it comes to our defense, Roman Josi, Denton Mateychuk, Braden Schneider, Brady Shea, we have a great top 4. And then when it comes to goaltending, we can rely on UC Saros. So we weren't able to bring home a Stanley Cup last season. However, I think we're going to go on a deep run this season. And I think we're going to put some pressure on a lot of teams. Now, moving into this season, I had very, very high expectations for the Nashville Predators, and right now they're not living up to those expectations. 8th in the entire league, a 34-20-6 record. I was expecting more. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was expecting a lot more from this team. The defense is really good right now, but somehow the offense actually took a step back, and I'm very surprised at that because I really thought our offense was going to be better. Steven Stamkos, Marchessault, Roman Josi, you guys are great, but Dylan Guenther and Phil Forsberg, find the back of the net somehow. I have no clue why you guys aren't producing. Like, you're literally not scoring goals. Dylan Guenther, you're here to score goals. Phil Forsberg, you're here to score goals. And neither of you guys are scoring goals right now. We can't have that. UC Saros keeps on putting up great numbers, but we got to find the back of the net a little bit more. And when I say we have to find the back of the net a little bit more, I mean from our top guys. I need Phil Forsberg and Dylan Guenther to find the back of the net more. I don't need Voronkov to find the back of the net more. I don't need Tyson Forrester to find the back of the net more. I need our top 2 guys. So with that being said, I really don't think we're going to make any trades here. There's nothing I really want to give up. We've also made so many trades over the past year and a half, we don't really have that many assets left. Now, it turns out us not making any trades was the right decision. third in the entire league, a 49-25-8 record. The offense is looking really strong. The defense is even better. I don't know why our defense stepped up, except I do. I made one adjustment to finish out the season. And what exactly was that adjustment? Dylan Guenther, I put you on the top line. Phil Forsberg, I moved you down to the second line. And ever since I made that move, we've been seeing more success. Even though some of the plus minus numbers don't look the greatest, we're scoring more, the defense is better, everything's looking better for Nashville ever since I made that move. We have the Winnipeg Jets in the first round. Let's light up Connor Hellebuyck and then see who we have to take on the second round. Alright, so the offense is looking pretty strong for this team. Our defense is looking elite as well. Is that going to continue into the first round? It looks like it. 4 goals is great in game number 1. 3 goals in game number 2, not quite as good. But this team is rolling and we're keeping the puck out of the net. That's a sweep over Winnipeg. So as long as the offense continues to look that good and our defense continues to look good, I don't know who's going to be able to stop us, but maybe Colorado can. It's time for us to get our revenge. They took us out in the second round last season. We are going to get our revenge here. We're winning game number 1, but dropping game 2. We're winning game 3. I needed you guys to win game 4. Game 5 is a must win for us. It's a best of 3 moving forward, and we're dropping this one. Why are you dropping that game? So we're moving into game number 6. This is a must win for the Nashville Predators. We cannot afford to lose this game right here. Can somebody score? Somebody did score in the third period. I didn't see which team it was. Please tell me it was Nashville, and it looks like it was. We're off to game 7. I'm not going to lie, I was terrified for a second. So it all comes down to one game in the second round. Can we find a way to get past the Colorado Avalanche? The Avs were able to take us down last season, but we're getting our revenge right here. You had your opportunity to take us down, and you didn't do so. And because of that, we're taking you down in game 7. Where's that amazing defense you thought you had? Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm actually very surprised that we outscored Colorado 8-2 in these past 2 games. Like, their defense was basically non-existent. I mean, I shouldn't really say that. 2 goals in 1 game is not that crazy, but 6 goals allowed in game 7, nah, they collapsed there. Now we're 4 games away from making it to the Stanley Cup final. We're down 3-1 against the Vegas Golden Knights, already off to a terrible start, but we might be making the comeback. We need to win game 6. That's a must win for us. Hold on now. I thought we were down and out. Our offense had completely vanished. But now we've woken up and now we're scoring goals. Can we pick up some goals in the first? Yes, we can. Can we pick up another one in the second? Yes, we can. We have a 2-goal lead. Play some defense now. I don't need any more offense. Just play some defense here, and we play defense. We might have allowed 1 goal, but 1 goal is not going to be enough. We're in the Stanley Cup final. So who do we get to face in the Stanley Cup final? I don't even know who's out there still, but who do we get to take on? The Toronto Maple Leafs. I refuse to lose against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We will not lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs of all teams in the Stanley Cup final. We're just going to sweep them because apparently our offense is unreal. How many goals did we just score? We scored 21 goals over the course of these 4 games. In this series right here, our offense was non-existent. Like over the first 4 games, we scored 4 goals. Luckily, our offense woke up after that, and we ended up winning 7 straight games to finish out the postseason. 21 goals in 4 games against Toronto. Nashville's on top like that, and we just got our first cupless team of Stanley Cup. No, that was actually a crazy ending to this season right here. Like, ain't no way we won 7 straight games. The offense was non-existent in the first 4 games against the Vegas Golden Knights, and then we figured it out after that. We started scoring goals, and what really helped us was moving Dylan Guenther up to the top line. 7 goals, he had 3 game-winning goals. Phil Forsberg, what'd you do? You were able to pick up 5 goals, but 5 goals isn't enough for me. You're one of our top goal scorers. I need you to do a little bit more. Trevor Zegras is the MVP though. 8 goals and 12 assists for 20 points. He was really that man for us. And then when it comes to goaltending, okay, I take it all back. UC Saros was the MVP. 16 wins, 4 shutouts, a 945 and a 176. He better have taken home the Conn Smythe. If they didn't give the Conn Smythe to UC Saros, then this game hates goaltenders. There's literally no reason he shouldn't be taking home the Conn Smythe. They gave it to Roman Josi. Really? Over Trevor Zegras and over UC Saros. I know Roman Josi was 1 point back of Trevor Zegras, but that man UC Saros got scammed. What are we doing? No, that's just not right. Now, although I'm happy we just won a Stanley Cup with the Nashville Predators, I am furious that UC Saros didn't get the Conn Smythe. He posted a 945 and a 172. You're telling me those numbers aren't good enough for the Conn Smythe. You're telling me there is a more valuable player to the team than the guy who posted a 945 and a 172? No, that's stupid. They did my man UC Saros wrong. Based on what I just saw there, I'm assuming that NHL 26 doesn't give the Conn Smythe to goaltenders. Bro could have shut them out in 4 straight games and they still wouldn't have given it to him. By the way, we're rebuilding Buffalo next. Now, we were able to win a Stanley Cup with the Nashville Predators pretty quick. I don't think it's going to be the same with the Buffalo Sabres because a lot of players in this team still have to develop. Like Zach Benson, he's only an 82 overall. Josh Stone, he's only an 84 overall. Jack Quinn, only an 83 overall. We have to give these guys time to develop. When it comes to the defense, I think that's pretty much set in stone. Like, these are going to be the guys that we're going to be rocking. And then when it comes to goaltending, Alex Lyon, you're probably not going to be the starter moving forward. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen will be. He's an 83 overall right now. I'm not too sure if an 83 overall is going to be good enough, but we do have a lot of good foundational pieces. We'll make a couple trades, re-sign a couple players, and we'll see what happens. So we'll start off with Alex Tuch, a guy that we just saw with the Nashville Predators. He won $6.8 million, and apparently we have no cap space, so we should fix that. So we're going to use a little bit of Trade Finder, and it's kind of funny, but we're actually making a deal with the Nashville Predators as our first one. We're going to be sending Jason Zucker over. I just don't want to pay him $4.7 million for next season. Now that we've cleared up that money, we're going to be able to re-sign Alex Tuch. I mean, on top of re-signing Alex Tuch, we do have to bring Zach Benson back to the team. But Alex Tuch, this is actually a pretty reasonable deal. We'll do 4.3 for the next 6. Welcome back to the team. Zach Benson, I'm kind of curious on how much you're going to be looking for. You want 5.1. That's going to be a little bit difficult. Okay, so originally I was planning on trading Josh Norris away to free up some cap space, but I kind of just really like this deal. Svechnikov, don't let me down. I think you can play some top line minutes. Our top line would be Tage Thompson, Svechnikov, and Zach Benson. I think that's going to be a really good top line for the future. I feel like I might be giving up a little bit too much, but I'm not really. We're moving on from Josh Norris, and truthfully, we don't really need him. We can just have Ryan McLeod play some second line minutes. This is a good deal for us. Although we didn't really free up any cap space whatsoever, I still don't mind the deal. Alright, so I'm thinking this is probably going to be one of our longest rebuilds because we're just bringing in a bunch of young players that we need to develop. Jackson Blake, welcome to the team next. This is the package that we're sending over. We're trading over Alex Lyon because he has a little bit of trade value. We're also going to be getting rid of Jordan Greenway's contract. I guess we'll see what happens moving forward. Like, this team is either going to develop and turn into a super team, or I'm making some very bad trades. Alright, so here's what our Buffalo Sabres team is looking like. I'm going to keep it $150 with you. I have no clue how good this team is going to be because I just don't know how this team is going to simulate. We have a really good defense. We have kind of a mid offense. The goaltending tandem is okay, I guess. I just feel like this team's not going to do well because they're not going to simulate well. Even though we have a ton of really good players, I just can't imagine this team simming well. Like, you can be an incredible team that just doesn't sim well in this game. Look at the St. Louis Blues. No matter what that team does, they could have a team of all 99 overalls. They will still be bottom 3 in the entire league. That's just because the game hates them so much. So we've made it to the trade deadline, and as of right now, the Buffalo Sabres are just outside the postseason. We're not looking like a great team by any means. 22nd in the entire league, a 31-28-3 record, but I kind of expected that. I just didn't expect this team to sim very well. We have a lot of good pieces on this team, a lot of great players. These guys just aren't going to sim well. Tage Thompson, you're looking pretty solid on the top line. Svechnikov, I was kind of hoping for more goals, but over time, I think you'll be able to pick up some more. Zach Benson, you're not picking up enough assists. You're up to an 87 overall now, and that's a great sign. However, we are going to have to pay you an absolute bag, and I still haven't given you an extension. Things could get a little bit sketchy there, but we'll figure it out as the time comes. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 23 wins, 4 shots, a 916 to 278. The defense is not a problem for this team. We just don't score goals. So we're not going to go all in this season. We're not going to make any trades here. There's literally no point giving up any assets. We're not going to win this season. Now, it turns out we actually will make one deal just because I would like to pick up a couple second round picks for next season. So Kesselring, I'm going to ship you out here. If we can bring back 2 second rounders, I think this is going to be a steal. I'll trade our 5th round pick for this season. Yeah, I'm okay with this deal. Kesselring was coming back to the team next season, so we might as well get multiple seconds. Alright, so to finish off the season, what a disaster for the Buffalo Sabres. 26th in the entire league, a 37-37-8 record, but I kind of expected this. I also want to point out Detroit was second last in the entire league, and St. Louis owns that pick. So they're going to be getting a very valuable player. Rasmus Dahlin, 78 points. He's leading the team in scoring. We're making some moves over the offseason. Like, a lot of these guys just don't sim well. Jackson Blake, I was kind of hoping you could be a big player for us. I don't really know if you're ever going to turn into that player. Your contract's going to be pretty expensive next season, so maybe we want to move on from you. Josh Doan is another guy. Like, is he going to live up to the contract he's going to be getting paid? I have no clue. Maybe we should move on from him. Even Ryan McLeod. Although a lot of these guys are pretty solid, they just don't sim well in this game. And if you don't sim well, then you're basically useless. Like in one of my most recent videos, it was the 25-year rebuild of the Detroit Red Wings. This isn't a spoiler for the video or anything, but there is one player I end up drafting with the Red Wings. That player never develops for me. Like, he turns into like an 82 overall player or something. So I end up trading him away, or I just let him walk into free agency. Something like that. Keep in mind, he is an 82, 83 overall player. Within 2 years of me letting him walk, he was second in the league in goals with 65 goals. Now I'm thinking, how on earth is this possible? How does this man have 65 goals as only an 83 overall? His pass shoot bias was all the way at shoot, and he had decent shooting stats. Therefore, he was taking 400 shots a season as an 83 overall, and he was picking up like 60 some goals. It was ridiculous. So even though he wasn't a high overall, he just simmed very well in the game. Ryan McLeod, Josh Doan, Jackson Blake, right now, these guys just aren't really simming too well. When it comes to the draft lottery results, it looks like we're going to be dropping from 7 to 9. We might be able to get a medium league potential player there, and if we can, that's actually going to be very ideal. Because best case scenario is we draft a medium league potential player and then immediately trade them away because we're trying to win as soon as possible. So we've made it to the 9th overall pick, and Carson Carroll is going to be the guy we're bringing to the team. We know for a fact he has medium league potential. He's going to be an amazing trade asset because that's what we're doing with him. We're trading him away. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Carson Carroll, I think he would be a great player for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Columbus, you don't actually want Kirill Marchenko. Like, you don't need Marchenko. Marchenko would be good on my team, but he's not going to be good for you guys. So Carson Carroll and Josh Doan are being offered. Unfortunately, that's not going to be enough. What else can I throw into this deal? How about a second rounder from the Boston Bruins? We acquired this second rounder from Michael Kesselring, and now it's going to be the difference. I guess not. Maybe multiple second rounders will be the difference. We could just do a 3-team trade, but I don't want to do that. All right, so Jackson Blake, I gave up some assets for you. Now I'm trading you for Gritsuk and a second round pick because we need to clear up cap space for next season. I was really hoping you could be a part of this team's future, but things have just not worked out for us. We have to free up money. Now, luckily, right now, we have 17.7 million. So bringing Zach Benson back to the team, that is going to be very easy. We're going to be looking at 7.5 for the next 4 seasons. That's going to be a fantastic contract. Logan Stanley, more than likely, you're looking for too much money. I'm not giving you 6.3. Luke Shen, you're not coming back to the team. Gritsuk, how much do you want? 1.9 million. What if we did 2 seasons? I'll do a 2x2 with you. I don't know if you'll accept a 2x2, but I think that's pretty fair. Peyton Krebs, how much money are you going to be looking for? I'd like to keep you around the bottom 6, and I can do 2.5 for the next 2 seasons. Zach Jones, maybe you can be a third pairing defenseman at 1.8 million. Why not? That's a really cheap deal. And then with everyone else, we're probably going to be looking at 2-way contracts. Now, it's actually a good thing that we still have a little bit of cap space because when it comes to extensions here, things are going to get expensive. Marchenko, I'm not doing a 1-year deal. We'll get a deal done with you eventually, but I'm not doing 1 season. Bo Byram, why do you only want 2 seasons? I guess I can do 6.3 for the next 3 years, but what if I give you a modified no trade? We'll get this up to 50% protection, and then we'll save some money. So we're going to get this down to 5.8 million for the next 3 years. I think that's a really good deal for Bo Byram. Jack Quinn, based on where you're playing right now in the lineup, I don't really want to commit too much money to you, so we're going to hold off with your extension. Kulik, we could probably do something pretty cheap here, and 2.5 is an amazing deal. I guess Noah Ostlund's also going to be brought back to the team. Here's 1.9 for the next 2. Also, when it comes to goaltending, Devin Levi's one guy I'm looking at here. 2.2 million honestly seems like a little bit too much, so I'm going to hold off with him. All right, so moving into free agency, I am looking at bringing 1 player to the team, and I'd like to bring them in for only 1 season. And Claude Giroux, you basically fit all the criteria for what I'm looking for. I want a centerman who's willing to sign a 1-year deal. Here's 6.5 for 1 season. Please say yes. If Claude Giroux joins the team, we're going to be in a very good spot. If he doesn't join the team, we're still in a good spot. So moving into year 2 with the Buffalo Sabres, expectations are significantly higher for this team, and I do think this team is going to be way better this season. I think Claude Giroux is going to be a great player on the second line. Marchenko was an amazing add to the second line. Zach Benson is now up to an 88 overall, so he's going to produce alongside Tage Thompson and Svechnikov. The bottom 6 is looking slightly better. When it comes to the defense, that's looking basically the exact same, but our defense was elite last season. And then when it comes to goaltending, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, you're up to an 85. Devin Levi's an 83 is backing him up. I think goaltending's better. Truthfully, I think across the board, the Buffalo Sabres are a better team this season. Went ahead and made some moves over the offseason, and now the Buffalo Sabres are 6th in the entire league, a 34-18-9 record. I feel like we're frauds, even though we have an elite offense. The defense is questionable on this team, so I think we have to address that. Claude Giroux is currently in the way with 66 points. Definitely didn't expect that. Rasmus Dahlin, 63 points. Tage Thompson's looking pretty solid. Zach Benson's leading the team in scoring right now. Okay, that's not right. Ain't no way this man Zach Benson's leading us in goals. Something's off here. Something is not right because he should not be doing that. When it comes to goaltending, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 31 wins, 2 shots, a 904 and a 296. I need your numbers to be slightly better. So I'm looking to make a move here to improve our defense. But on top of that, I'm actually also looking to move Svechnikov because right now, bro kind of sucks. He might be an 88 overall, but he has 14 goals this season. He is shooting 7.7%. Yeah, I think we got to move on from bro. Alright, so we're actually not going to trade Svechnikov because every sniper that is better than him currently has a no movement or a no trade. So it's just not happening. Or they're 75 years old. And I'm not trading for some 75-year-old. So we're picking up Zach Whitecloud, and then we're going to trade Connor Timmins for a left defenseman. So what we're going to do next is Timmins, Danforth, and a 4th round pick is going to be sent over to Winnipeg. Heinola is going to be brought in. He can play some good third pairing minutes. We have to include a 5th round pick in this deal, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Heinola, welcome to the team. So to finish out the season, the Buffalo Sabres are the 3rd best team in the entire league. And the best thing about this is everyone's coming back next season. So if we can't win a Stanley Cup in year number 2, we'll just win a Stanley Cup in year number 3. The defense was better after the trade deadline. This team actually might be able to win a Stanley Cup this season because we're looking really good from top to bottom. A lot of players stepped up for us. Svechnikov, still not 100% sold on you. Like, honestly, I might have to move you for like a 2-way forward because you're just not doing enough for me. When it comes to goaltending numbers, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 38 wins, 5 shots, a 910 and 277. You're looking a lot better. Devin Levi has been really good as the backup, but he's not winning games. Even though he has a 923 and a 253, he only has 9 wins this season, which is honestly very surprising. But we have Carolina in the first round. We know they're going to put some pressure on us. I believe Buffalo can take them down. So let's go ahead and see if the Buffalo Sabres can match the Nashville Predators. Can they win in season number 2 like Nashville did? I highly doubt it. Honestly, I think we got really lucky with Nashville. I don't think we should have won in season number 2. Like, when do I ever win in season number 2? It doesn't happen. So honestly, I wouldn't be overly surprised here if we somehow lost in the first round to the Carolina Hurricanes. That would only be my luck. We've lost 3 games in a row. Yeah, we're about to lose in the first round. Honestly, it only makes sense. We had way too much luck with the Nashville Predators. It's all crashing down right now. We're going to fall to the Carolina Hurricanes unless we win this game right here. So we're not down and out quite yet. I mean, there's still lots of time for us to lose this series. Like, if we lose game 7, we're done. It all comes down to one game. Anything can happen when it comes to game 7. It doesn't matter if you're the favorite or the underdog. When you're in game 7, anyone can take it home. In the first period, we're exchanging goals. Moving into the second, we're exchanging goals once again. Norris and Svechnikov are trading goals. You couldn't ask for 2 better guys to be scoring goals right now. But when the third period came around, who's going to come out on top as the winner? Nobody, because Claude Giroux is picking up back-to-back late goals. We're headed to overtime, and in overtime when it mattered most, Jordan Martinook's picking up the shorthanded winner. Ain't no way. Bro scored a double OT winner the other day. Now he's picking up OT winners in NHL 26. I guess he's like that. Now, although we lost in the first round, I think we're building a great team for the future. Everyone's locked down for this upcoming season, so there's nothing to be worried about. Owen Power, you led us with 8 points. Claude Giroux, you're honestly, surprisingly, the only guy I'm concerned about, because I kind of want to bring you back to the team because you are really good for us. However, we have to pay Marchenko, and I'm not sure if we're going to have enough money for everyone. So that is certainly going to be one thing that's hurting us a little bit. When it comes to extensions, we're looking at Marchenko first. Obviously, we have to bring him back to the team. He wants 2 seasons at $8.6 million. We have $24 million in cap space now. This is actually going to be very easy, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get risky. I'm going to bank on this team winning a Stanley Cup over the next 2 years. So Marchenko, we're going to give you a no movement in that final season. And in the event you want to leave the team after year 2, well, then we're just going to lose you into free agency. But Claude Giroux, how much money do you want? You're an 88 overall. Okay, this actually works very well. Here is a no movement. We're getting your contract interest up quite a bit. Here's 5.6 million. That works. So I guess there's nothing to be concerned about. Literally every player is coming back except for maybe Jack Quinn, because I don't want to give him 4.8 million. Okay, did our scouts just take a season off? What are we doing here? We scouted absolutely nobody. Like, I guess there's a couple medium top 9 potential players, but I don't want to waste a first round pick on a bunch of medium top 9 potential players. So let's go make some trades. Don't really know what the scouts were up to this season. but clearly they were doing a whole lot of nothing. Alright, so I think what we're going to do with Jack Quinn and all of our draft picks for this season, they're all going to be sent over to Pittsburgh. McGroarty and Kindle are both going to be brought to the team. Two great bottom six options. Now, as of right now, Ben Kindle's already locked down. McGroarty isn't though, and he needs a contract extension. He's looking for 3.2 million. I think we can get this down quite a bit. I'll give you 2.9 for the next 2 seasons. If you're willing to accept that as an 83 overall, we're getting a steal, and it looks like we are. Everyone else is getting two-way contracts, or they're going to leave the team. Also, I guess we still haven't extended Devin Levi, so here's $2.3 million for 2 seasons. You and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen can split starts this upcoming season. We now have 2 great options in between the pipes, so I'm not too concerned. Now, before we spend our $9.8 million in cap space and free agency, we do want to hand out a couple extensions. Zach Whitecloud, you're not getting $4.2 million from me. Peyton Krebs, I think there's a good chance that you end up leaving the team, but for $2 million, I see the vision, so you can come back for $2 million bucks. Gritzuk, I think I can bring you back to the team because I can't imagine you're looking for too much. Here's $1.1 million, an absolute steal. Ben Kindle, if you want like $3 million, I can do that, or you can ask for $1.6 million. You can do that as well. So yeah, extensions are super easy here. Not only do we have the same team for this season, we also have the same team for next season. We have $9.8 million to work with. Who do we want to bring to the team? We could free up money and bring in Quinn Hughes, but that just wouldn't make any sense. I think ideally we just bring in somebody for 1 season. And how about we bring in Ryan O'Reilly, St. Louis Blue legend, but he wants to be a top 6 forward, and you wouldn't be a top 6 forward for me. So I guess we'll just go after a guy like Luosterainen. Here's $2.3 million for 2 seasons. You can play some bottom 6 minutes. And honestly, I think that's probably going to be it, because I don't think there's anyone else I'm really interested in bringing in for 1 season. Jake Neighbors, I definitely will bring you in for 1 season. I didn't think you would be available, but here's $3.2 million. So Jake Neighbors, welcome to the team. And I actually think those are going to be our only 2 moves. Justin Brazeau was calling my name, but not today. We can't bring in Justin Brazeau today. Or at least we can't bring in Justin Brazeau right now. In our very next rebuild, you never know, Justin Brazeau might be joining. So over these next 2 seasons, it's Stanley Cup or bust. At some point, we do have to bring home a Stanley Cup. I don't know if it's going to be this season. I don't know if it's going to be next season. But over one of these next 2 years, the Buffalo Sabres will win a Stanley Cup. It looks like Devin Levi is the number 1 moving forward. I can work with that. As long as he steps up and performs when the lights are the brightest, we'll be all right. Now, right now, the Buffalo Sabres are flying. First in the entire league, a 42-18-1 record. We are not losing. We have the best offense in the game right now, one of the best defenses in the game. We can't be stopped. There are no trades I want to make here. We have to stick with the team that we have. Marchenko is 70 points, Claude Giroux is 65. No clue why Claude Giroux has been such an important player for us, but he's really been that guy. Svechnikov's shooting percentage is up. He has 24 goals so far. Everything about this team looks amazing. So let's go win a Stanley Cup. No overthinking things. No not showing up when the lights are the brightest. Let's just win. Alright, so we won 10 more games than the next closest team. That's what the Buffalo Sabres were on this season. A 60-21-1 record. If we can't win this season, we run it back with the exact same team next season. We have everyone locked down. This team looks incredible. Look at everyone who had 70 or more points. No, we're not messing around. Buffalo's bringing home a Stanley Cup this season. Devin Levi's going to be the number 1. We get Montreal in the first round. Let's make a statement against them. Now, I'm not going to lie. I feel like we're peaking with the Buffalo Sabres right now. Like 60 wins in a season, I don't think is going to happen with any of our teams moving forward. I can't imagine any of our 8 remaining teams are going to win 60 plus games. This Buffalo Sabres team right now is just built different. But I guess I shouldn't say that, because we still have to rebuild the San Jose Sharks. And with Macklin Celebrini as our number 1 guy, we can probably work with that. Why are we blowing a 3-1 series lead? But as I was trying to say, with Macklin Celebrini, I think we could win 60 plus games. Gritzuk's picking up the first goal of the game. Moving into the second, Zach Benson's picking up the second. So we should be able to win this game. And it looks like that's what we're going to be doing. We're walking away with a victory 4-1. But yeah, Macklin Celebrini is just the perfect example of somebody who sims really well in this game. So I can imagine us winning 60 plus games with him. Like, even though he's a playmaker, he can probably record 50 plus goals. So we should be perfectly fine with Celebrini moving forward. We're taking on the Florida Panthers next. Things are looking good until we drop game number 4. I would have preferred a 3-1 series lead, but I guess we're not going to be getting that. But we could take this team down 6 games. If we win game number 6, don't go to another game 7, and it doesn't look like we have to worry about that. So we're moving on to the conference finals, and now we have to take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Philly's going to put some pressure on us, but I'm not too sure if it's going to be enough. We've won back-to-back games. Let's make it 3 wins in a row, but why would we ever do that? So we're dropping game number 5, 6-0. We need to respond in this game right here. If we drop game 6, we're going to be losing this one, but we don't have to worry about it. We're coming down on top 6-1. If our offense wakes up, no one's going to take us down. We scored 6 goals in game number 6. Now it's time for 7 goals in game 7. Let's do it, Buffalo. I need you guys to lock in right now. Philly might be picking up the first 2 goals of the game, but we're going to be responding. Moving into the second, we're picking up another. We have scored back-to-back goals. Now it's time for us to pick up 3 straight goals and win in the third period. That's exactly how you get it done. Kulik picking up a huge goal, and now we're in the Stanley Cup final. No, I'm sorry, but ain't no way. We were down 2-0, and then we scored 1 goal, and then we scored another. And then when I said we're going to pick up 1 more goal in the third period for 3 unanswered goals, we actually did that. We did what I predicted. That doesn't happen very often. We're taking on the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup final. After winning the first 2, we're dropping the next 2. It's a best of 3 moving forward. Game number 5 is a must win, and that's what we're doing. So can we close it out in game 6? Yes, we can. I was about to say, can we close out in game 7? But we don't need game 7 because we're just going to close out in a 6-game series. The Dallas Stars are falling to Buffalo, and just like that, we have our second Stanley Cup of the day. So that's 2 Stanley Cups so far. 1 for the Nashville Predators, another for the Buffalo Sabres. Rasmus Dahlin, 23 points. Zach Benson, 22. Tage Thompson, 22. Svechnikov stepped up big time. 10 goals, 11 assists for 21 points. He hadn't been a big goal scorer this video until now. He stepped up when the lights were the brightest, and when we needed him most, Svechnikov found the back of the net. Devin Levi, 15 wins, 2 shots, a 922 and a 250. You were really good for us, but Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, when you had to step in those 3 games, you were elite. 1 win, a 923 and a 219. This was a full team effort. Every player on this team played an important role, and because of that, we're walking away with Stanley Cup number 2 of the video. A couple players had some negative plus minuses, but who cares about that? Kulik, you had 3 goals, but 2 of them were game winners, so clearly you scored when it mattered. So we still have 8 teams remaining on the wheel, but some of these teams are going to be way easier to rebuild than others. Utah should actually be relatively easy. There's a lot of great pieces for us to start with. All right, so the more I think about it, Utah is probably going to be one of our easiest rebuilds because they have Denoye and they have Iginla in the system. Both of those guys have a medium elite potential. We are going to trade both of those guys and get some huge upgrades to this team. There is a chance we actually make this a 1-year rebuild. Like, Utah already has an incredible core that they can build around. But on top of that, Denoye and Iginla both have a lot of potential. We're going to capitalize on this potential, bring in 2 more elite players, and maybe even 3 more elite players, and then we're going to go dominate the NHL. So Denoye, I'm trading you away here. I'd like to package you up with somebody else. Barrett Hayton's probably the guy to go with, except maybe he isn't. I want to package you up with somebody who's getting paid a decent amount of money. Lawson Crouse. I could package you up with Lawson Crouse, and we should be able to bring in like a $5 million, maybe even a $6 million player. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. We're going to pull off a deal with the LA Kings. I'm looking to get a 3rd rounder back, but I don't think we're going to be able to get that. It's Denoye, Lawson Crouse, and John Marino. We're bringing in Quentin Byfield, Mikey Anderson, and a 2nd round pick. I think this is a really good deal for us. Even if we can't get the 2nd rounder, we're getting 2 huge upgrades to the team. 2 guys that are immediately going to help us this season. We might be able to win a Stanley Cup in 1 season. Like, this Utah team is going to be so incredibly good this season. I can only imagine we're going to be one of the favorites to win a Stanley Cup. I'm very surprised this package isn't enough. Granted, we are not fading the trade block in the slightest. Also, our 1st round pick has quite a bit of value. Okay, hold on. We might have to change things up a little bit because I feel like I should trade these 1st round picks before I do anything else, but we're not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to make this trade right here that they're not accepting. Okay, I guess I have to throw in a 1st rounder. I will trade a 1st round pick for next season. This is still well worth it. LA, thank you for accepting that deal. Okay, if I can somehow pull off this deal, we're definitely winning a Stanley Cup in year number 1. McBain and Nate Schmidt along with our 1st round pick for Cole Caulfield. Now, they're saying no to this, as they should be. But you know what? I still think we can get this done because we still have Iginla in the system. I'll trade Iginla away. I want you to give me your 1st round pick for this upcoming season. We're going to win a Stanley Cup, aren't we? We're going to make this one a 1-year rebuild. They're saying no. How about you give me multiple seconds? You can give me 2 2nd rounders and a 3rd. I think this is a very fair deal. Montreal's going to be saying no. I'll take out the 3rd round pick. Are they saying yes? They're still saying no. I'll take out 1 of the 2nd rounders. Is this going to be enough? I think we are very close in this deal. Although we are not matching your trade block in the slightest, we have to be close in a deal like this. Please say yes. They're saying no. I'll take out the 3rd round pick. I'll take out the 2nd rounder. All 4 of these assets for Cole Caulfield. We have to win now. Like, one thing we have to remember, basically everyone on this team is already locked down, so when it comes to extensions, there's nothing for us to worry about. Utah is definitely winning. All right, so after all of our trades, here's how the team looks. Quentin Byfield is now playing third line minutes for us. We will find a way to see success this season. We will put the puck in the back of the net and we'll keep the puck out of ours. It's going to be very simple. Also, I don't think I'm going to stop at the trade deadline. I mean, I guess I will. Even though we're not going to make any moves, we will just see how we're doing. Because yeah, after making all those trades, I can't imagine us actually making any big moves at the deadline. All right, so we're just going to call this season a wash, and I'm going to blame one man, Utah's head coach. Yeah, this man is a bum. 22nd in the entire league. You're telling me this team that we have constructed can't see success. You're telling me a team that has Clayton Keller, Cole Caulfield, Nick Schmaltz, Sergachev, Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, Sean Dursey, Barrett Hayton, I'm not too focused on you, JJ Peterka, Quentin Byfield, Michael Carcone can't see success? Yeah, good one. You're telling me this team right here can't see success. This team right here can't win games. Yeah, we're not even counting season number 1. We need a new head coach. We have to rebuild the coaching staff. If you don't have a good coaching staff, you don't see success, and that's the case here. We have a good team. We just have a horrible head coach. All right, so over the offseason, we are not focused on trading players. We are not going to be focused on rebuilding this team, but instead, we're just going to change the coaching staff because this team should have been better than 19th in the entire league. Yeah, I don't really want to waste any time here. Clayton Keller, 80 points to lead the way. That's an absolute joke. Goaltending numbers probably don't look that good, and they don't look great. Yeah, I'm not wasting any time here. Florida Stanley Cup champions do not care. Utah will win next season. We just need a new head coach. It's as simple as that. This team should have been significantly better. Also, Montreal's gained our 14th overall pick, but who cares? We got Cole Caulfield in the deal. It's still working out for us. All right, so for the first time in this video, we actually got a notable prospect. Medium top 6 potential, Johnny Whitman. Welcome to the team. Yeah, I don't really care about Johnny Whitman. Like, he is not going to develop in time. If anything, we're going to be trading bro away in about 4 seconds. So we have ourselves $8.7 million in cap space to work with. I don't think I plan on bringing anyone back here. Ian Cole, you're 37. I just can't rely on you. Yeah, I think everyone's walking here. We'll get cheap replacements in free agency. All right, so surprisingly, Barrett Hayton has quite a bit of trade value. So I'm going to try to turn Barrett Hayton into Jimmy Snuggerud and Jake Neighbors. If we can pull this deal off, our bottom 6 is looking incredible. I'll give up this 3rd rounder from the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that should be enough. I guess they need a 7th rounder as well. I am definitely willing to give up Barrett Hayton, a 3rd and 7th round pick, in order to get Jake Neighbors and Jimmy Snuggerud. That's a steal. So we're going to make a couple free agent signings. When I say a couple, I just mean 2. Jason Dickinson, here's $2.2 million. You're going to play some 4th line center minutes. And then to finish it all off, we do need to bring in 1 right defenseman. And Nick Jensen, I guess you can be that guy. For 1 season at $2.9 million, I don't hate that contract. You can fill a role. And now that we have a new head coach and a new coaching staff, I'm ready for this team to dominate. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I am very concerned heading into this season. Now, why am I concerned? You would think that after bringing in a new head coach and improving the coaching staff, there would be no way this team could lose, right? We missed out on the 2 head coaches I wanted. There were 2 A+ head coaches available. I offered both of them huge contracts. Neither of them signed. So we're going to be rocking a terrible coaching staff once again. And as we all know, a terrible coaching staff means you won't see any success. You can be the greatest team of all time. If you have a terrible coaching staff, you don't have a chance. Like, we've actually been blessed over the past 2 rebuilds. With the Nashville Predators and the Buffalo Sabres, we were able to bring in a really good head coach within 1 season. Utah, on the other hand, yeah, we kind of struck out. So heading into this season, I'm fully expecting a dumpster fire, but it's actually not a complete dumpster fire. 10th in the entire league, a 36-22-3 record. We still don't have a good head coach. So this team is still not expected to do too much. As long as we have a bad head coach, we will not reach our peak. We will not be able to be the team that we should be, because this team should be lighting the lamp. This team should be dominating absolutely everyone. Look at Vejmelka's numbers. You're telling me we're not scoring enough goals with him in between the pipes? That's just not true. So I'm not making any moves. I refuse to make any moves until we get a better head coach. So I'm happy to say the Utah Mammoth are going to be making the postseason, 10th in the entire league. But we have to remember, we haven't reached our peak yet. We haven't reached our prime forms because we have terrible coaching. The terrible coaching is something I will rant about for the rest of this video until we get a better head coach, because this team should be so much better. But because of one bad head coach, we won't see enough success. And you know what? I shouldn't say we have a bad head coach, because Spencer Carberry is our head coach right now. Let's not act like he is a terrible head coach. But the gap between an A and an A+ head coach is actually so wide, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you would think they'd be very close. They are not close in the slightest. We're taking on Colorado in the first round. It's going to be tough for us. All right, so the Colorado Avalanche in the first round. What are the Utah Mammoth going to do here? Are we going to go on some ridiculous run, even though we probably shouldn't? Potentially, because I think there is a possibility this team does something special. We've already lost 2 games. Yeah, we're not going to do anything special. We're probably going to get swept to Colorado, but I guess not. We're winning game number 3, but it doesn't matter. We're dropping game 4, and just like that, the Utah Mammoth are about to be eliminated as we drop game number 5, but we're going to win that one in overtime. Colorado, you had your opportunity to eliminate us, and you didn't do that. So now we're off to game 7. Colorado has had back-to-back opportunities to take down the Utah Mammoth, and they haven't done that yet. We're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second, Marty Necas is picking up a power play goal. Yeah, this one's all over. We're falling 4-1. We are losing here because of our head coach. Like, that's all it is. Our head coach is the reason we lost. I don't care how good the team looks. Without a good head coach, we're going to do nothing. So it turns out we're going to lose to the Stanley Cup champions, and we actually put up the biggest fight against the Colorado Avalanche, so I guess we can take that momentum into the offseason. But yeah, we need a new head coach. It's as simple as that. Once we bring in a new head coach, I fully expect this team to win a Stanley Cup, but Vejmelka's up to an 86 now, so we should be able to work with that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I really never thought I would see the day, but in back-to-back drafts now, we have got prospects that aren't complete buns, a medium top 4D potential player. We might be able to package them up and trade them away. So the salary cap's going to be jumping up a ton. $18 million to work with here. Jake Neighbors, you're definitely coming back to the team. A nice little 3x3 with him. Actually, it's going to be less than that. I'll do $2.8 million for the next 3 years. Jake Neighbors is coming back. Dickinson, you're going to be leaving. Jensen, you're going to be leaving. Jimmy Snuggerud, of course, you have to come back to this team. Here's 2.4 for the next 3 seasons. Lemarayu, you're going to be coming back to the team as well. $800K for 1 season. How about I do $900K for 2 seasons? Welcome back. And then with everyone else, they're going to be walking unless they sign 2-way contracts. Now, before we go hunt down our new head coach and make a couple free agent signings, Clayton Keller does need an extension. I can only imagine he wants an absolute bag, and it looks like he does. $15.6 million. I'm willing to do something similar, but I do want to save some money. So you know what? I think this is a fair deal for both sides. $14 million for the next 7. You get your bag, but we get to keep you on the team. Meanwhile, when it comes to Sean Durzi, I'm not against moving him. If we can get the right player in a deal, I wouldn't be against moving Durzi. But I also wouldn't be against bringing him back to the team because he fits a good role for us. When it comes to Shimashev, I would like to keep him on the 3rd pairing, and at this price tag, he's definitely sticking around. Here's $2.2 million. And then when it comes to Butt, we'll keep him around as well. $800K for the next 2 years is an absolute steal in my eyes. So Sean Durzi, I've circled back on you pretty quick here because I realize there really isn't that much better of a deal out there, especially when you're willing to take this much of a pay cut, 7.7 for the next 5. Yeah, you can definitely stick around at that price. So when it comes to the free agent signs that we have to make here, let's try to sign a handful of guys to 1-year deals. I don't know who those players are going to be, but let's try to find somebody who's going to impact the team. One guy that could certainly impact the team is Ryan O'Reilly. Here's $5.3 million. He wants to be a penalty killer though. I guess I can promise that to him. So Ryan O'Reilly, you can be a penalty killer for us. Here's $5.3 million for 1 season. You're going to be a great bottom 6 option. And then outside of Ryan O'Reilly, who else do I want to bring to the team? Pius Suter wouldn't be too bad, but I don't want to lock him down for 3 seasons. Nyquist is getting pretty old here. Are there any other somewhat young centermen available? It doesn't look like it. Justin Brazeau is available. And I low-key want to go with Justin Brazeau just because it's Justin Brazeau. So that's what we're going to do. Justin Brazeau, here's $2.2 million. All right, so Utah, do not mess this up. You have such a good team here. Elite from top to bottom. Whatever you do, don't mess this up. It is our time to win, so let's go win. Also, Kaapo Kähkönen's our backup goaltender this season. Forgot to mention that signing. Alright, so we had a pretty good season. We finished first in the entire league and won the President's Trophy with a 48-13-3 record. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't win the President's Trophy. This is the trade deadline. We have 48 wins at the trade deadline. We are dominating. This team is ready to win a Stanley Cup. All we needed was a new head coach. We finally got a new head coach, and look what this team does. They dominate the league, and they just completely take over. This is what we've been missing since day number 1. A new head coach. Oh yeah, by the way, we're not making any trades. This team looks elite. Alright, so Utah, you guys kind of sucked after the trade deadline. We finished with a 57-20-5 record. This isn't that good. After the trade deadline, we were kind of buns, and that has me concerned because the playoffs are coming around and we have to win now. Why did you guys just immediately start sucking? You shouldn't have done that. You should have just kept on winning, kept on dominating, and we'd be completely fine. But y'all said, nah, we're going to play like hot garbage to finish up the season. Don't do that. We're taking on Nashville in the first round. I guess we'll just see what happens. Now, Utah, I'm really hoping your terrible finish to the season doesn't translate into the postseason. Why did we drop game number 1? I was about to say let's dominate, and then we drop game number 1. Why are the Utah Mammoth dropping game number 1? We should not be dropping game number 1. I don't care that we've won 3 in a row. Why are we dropping game number 1? We shouldn't be doing that. We might have won 4 games in a row, but we dropped game number 1. This should have been a sweep over the Nashville Predators, but we decided, nah, we're going to drop game number 1. Why did you guys do that? Now we get to take on the Winnipeg Jets, a team that is unstoppable in NHL 26, so more than likely we're going to lose here. We're dropping game 2, or we dropping game number 3, doesn't look like it. We might have a 3-1 series lead, but I am not confident. We are bound to collapse, and it looks like the collapse is here. We have to win game 6. This is a must win for us, and luckily we're going to be winning it. So we're moving on to the conference finals. Things have been looking pretty solid. Now we have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. This is going to be our toughest task. If we can beat them, then we're fine, and we swept them. Okay, I'm not really scared of anyone moving forward. Who are we taking on the Stanley Cup final? It looks like it's going to be the Philadelphia Flyers. Philly, you guys probably have yourselves a pretty good team. You're not quite as good as Utah. Utah is on a different level. We split the series so far. This is a must-win game for us. We need to win game 5, and that's what we're doing. So let's close out in game 6. I don't want to go to game 7. If we go to game 7, more than likely we're going to be losing, and we don't have to worry about it. Utah's on top as Stanley Cup champions. Now, I'm not going to lie. Out of the 3 rebuilds we've completed so far, this one annoys me the most, because in reality, we should have won in year number 1. In season number 1 with this team, we should have won a Stanley Cup because it's basically the exact same team. Clayton Keller was here in year 1. Same with Cole Caulfield, Logan Cooley, Dursey, Dylan Gunther, Mackenzie Weegar, Nick Schmaltz, Quentin Byfield, Sergachev. Jake Neighbors was the only guy who wasn't here in year number 1. I guess Ryan O'Reilly wasn't here as well, but JJ Peterka was, Michael Carcone was. Like, this team is basically the exact same as they were in season number 1 when I took over. I made a handful of trades in year number 1 expecting us to win in season number 1, and then it ended up taking us 3 years. It should not have taken us 3 years. Our head coach held us back. Now, you might be wondering, who is our superstar head coach? Lane Lambert. I'm not kidding. He is an A+, and he helped us win a Stanley Cup here. He was the difference maker. Now, I know for a fact 90% of you are stunned at that. You're telling me John Cooper wasn't the answer? Apparently so. We got Winnipeg. This should be a 1-year rebuild. Like, I honestly don't think I have to make any trades. The way the Jets perform in this game, I fully expect us to win a Stanley Cup in year 1. But now that I'm taking over the team, we're going to be a first round exit or even miss the playoffs. Now, I feel like this rebuild is going to be very, very easy or very, very hard, and no in between, because the Winnipeg Jets in this game are loved. They are deeply loved by NHL 26. Even though they don't have the greatest team on paper here, they are deeply, deeply loved by this game. So because of that, they're likely going to go on a run here, even though I haven't done anything to their team. And I almost want to do nothing in year number 1. Like, I almost want to sit back and make no moves at all. Just see what this team does. I low-key want to do that. And that's actually exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to simulate right to the end of the season. I'm not going to stop at the trade deadline. We are going to do a whole lot of nothing. And we are just going to see if this team wins. This is either going to backfire a ton, or we're going to be laughing by the time we get to the end of the season as we've won the Stanley Cup and have won the President's Trophy. Whatever happens, happens. We'll just have to embrace whatever goes on. Now, honestly, this was the most Winnipeg Jets season in NHL 26 that you can think of. So we did make the playoffs, 14th in the entire league, a 41-31-10 record. So what does that mean? We were basically 41-41. At the end of the day, loser point or not, we won 41 games and we lost 41 games, but we're 14th in the entire league, which backwards is 41. So I might be onto something. I might be yapping, I might be capping, but I think I'm spitting some facts right now. Mark Scheifele, 87 points. Kyle Connor, he was pretty solid as well, 43 goals, 35 assists, 78 points. Nah, this team just makes no sense. The second line was atrocious. Look at those plus minuses. When it comes to goaltending, Connor Hellebuyck really wasn't that great. I can't wait for this team to somehow win a Stanley Cup. We're taking on Edmonton in the first round. We deserve to lose in the first round. And you know what? I couldn't even be bothered to turn the face cam on. Like, we know this team isn't about it this season. Alright, so we all understand the Winnipeg Jets have no business being here. We shouldn't have made the playoffs. We just shouldn't be here in general. I can't wait for this team to take down the Edmonton Oilers. We are somehow going to take down Edmonton here, and it's going to make absolutely no sense. We split the series with them, Game number 5 is a big one. Can we somehow steal that away from the Oilers? Yes, we can. We are one game away from making it to the second round. I don't understand it, but we're here. No, like seriously, it doesn't make sense. I don't know how we've made it to the second round. We clearly don't deserve to be here. The Edmonton Oilers were number 1 in their division, but yet the Winnipeg Jets took them down. But watch the Anaheim Ducks beat us, except I guess they won't. We split the series with them. It's a best of 3 moving forward. Game number 5 is the most important game. Can we steal that away? It doesn't look like it. We need game 6. At this point, I honestly don't know. I can see Winnipeg winning the Stanley Cup here. I can also see them losing to the Anaheim Ducks. It could really go either way. Isaac Rosen, show to bro. So we're moving into game 7. We are 7-5 so far in the postseason. Why on earth are we 7-5? I couldn't tell you, but we are here and we are looking to win. Zellweger's picking up a goal in the first period, moving into the second. You can't make this up. This doesn't make sense. Okay, this kind of makes sense. We're blowing a third period lead, but watch us pick up the OT winner. Like, this only makes sense apparently. Why was Peter Mrazek in between the pipes? I couldn't tell you, but we're coming out on top. Now, I wish I could say that I was just faking this and that this game isn't rigged. That is not the case. Winnipeg, what are we doing here? Why are we winning? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why on earth are the Winnipeg Jets actually competing with the Colorado Avalanche right now? Why are we one game away from the Stanley Cup final? We just allowed 8 goals. Now that kind of makes sense. Watch this team score 7 goals in game number 7. We do not deserve to be here. We are 11-8 in the postseason. Colorado is 11-5. They are clearly the better team right now. We got outshot 15-3. We are going to win this game. I know we're going to win this game. It doesn't make any sense, but we're about to win this game right here. Like, it doesn't make sense. Jonathan Toews, why are you picking up back-to-back goals? Why did you score a short-handed goal to tie this game up? Why did we score 3 goals in the third period? We're in the Stanley Cup final. So here we go. The Stanley Cup final. I didn't make a single trade with this Winnipeg Jets team. I don't know how New Jersey made to the Stanley Cup final either. How did these two teams make it here? I have no clue. It is so incredibly questionable. We are one game away. We are actually one game away from hoisting the Stanley Cup. We drop game number 5. At this point, just win. Do not blow a 3-1 series lead. Why are we blowing a 3-1 series lead? You know what? It only makes sense. We have to blow a 3-1 series lead only to wake up in game 7. We have to put on a masterclass in game number 7. We're exchanging goals in the first period. In the second, wow, it's a scoreless one. 3 unanswered goals right here. We win the Stanley Cup. It might not be 3 unanswered, but we won the Stanley Cup because we are the Winnipeg Jets in NHL 26. It doesn't make any sense. It infuriates me. If I were to try to rebuild the St. Louis Blues right now, like if I stopped recording this video and began rebuilding the St. Louis Blues, I can guarantee you I go 10 seasons without winning a Stanley Cup. It could be a team of all 99 overalls. The furthest we would make it is probably the second round. Like, I don't know what to say. It doesn't make sense. Stanley Cup champions. What on earth did we just do? We basically played every game possible too. I just want to point that out. We had great scoring numbers, but the reason we had great scoring numbers, we played a stupid amount of games. We only played 1 less game than possible. We had 3 series go to game 7 and 1 go to game 6. Connor Hellebuyck, 2 shutouts, a 922 and a 268. I will never understand it. Never in a million years will I understand why the Winnipeg Jets are this good. Why are they this good in NHL 26? It truly makes no sense. There is no reason they should be this dominant, but they are, and because of that, we just had a 1-year rebuild. Even though I actually didn't rebuild anything, it was basically just a 1-year simulation. Like, I just want to remind everyone once again, a 41, 31, and 10 record. So basically, a 41 and 41 record. We were literally a 500 hockey team. And then we ended up winning 3 game 7s and won the Stanley Cup. A 500 hockey team, a team that had a goal differential of 2. We literally scored 2 more goals than we allowed. Stanley Cup champions, the Winnipeg Jets. I don't really have too much more to say. I guess we're rebuilding the Senators next. I have no clue. So the Ottawa Senators are going to be the next team that we're about to rebuild. And honestly, I feel like this team shouldn't be too difficult. There's a handful of young guys on the team. A lot of players have X factors. And in this game, X factors mean quite a bit. When taking a look at the defense, you got some decent pieces here. I think we could improve the left side a little bit. I guess only time will tell. And then when it comes to goaltending, we have Linus Ullmark in between the pipes. He's certainly one guy I can work with. I honestly feel like we shouldn't have to make too many adjustments to this team. Like, there's a lot of really solid pieces we can build around. There's a couple young guys we could trade away. We're going to make this team a lot better really quick. So here's the first move that we're making. Dylan Cousins over to the Washington Capitals. We're bringing in Protas. Now, right now, they're basically the exact same overall. Protas is 1 overall higher, but we free up money in this deal, and that is the main reason we're making this deal, because the difference between Dylan Cousins and Shane Pinto isn't that much. They're the same age. There's a 1 overall difference between the two guys. Shane Pinto's already signed an extension for next season at $7.5 million, so we don't need both of these guys on the team. It just wouldn't make sense. So Dylan Cousins, I'm going to trade you away. We're going to throw a 3rd round pick into this deal as well, and that should be enough. I guess it isn't. I'll throw in a 4th rounder as well. Here's a 4th round pick for 2027. That should be enough to get this deal done. I feel like our trade values are very fair here. But just looking at trade values, we're definitely offering enough in this deal, and it looks like Washington's finally going to be accepting. Now, when it comes to our next deal, Chuck, although I think you're going to be a good player, you don't help us right now because you're only a 75 overall. I don't want to wait for you to develop, so I'm trading you for Edvinsson. We're going 1 for 1 in this deal. I think this is an amazing one, but apparently we have to give up a 7th round pick. We are very close here. I guess I won't give up a 7th round pick. I'll give you a 6th rounder. You're telling me this isn't enough. You're telling me you wouldn't accept 1 for 1, but you need these 2 6th round picks because they matter that much. Ridiculous. Now we're going to make one final trade. Shane Pinto, I was kind of gassing you up earlier, but I'm trading you away because I kind of realized I don't think you're worth $7.5 million. So we're going to trade you in a 2nd round pick. Chinakhov and Justin Brazeau are both going to be brought to the team. So we're going to be turning 1 player and 1 draft pick into 2 guys who can play for us right now. All right, so we made a lot of trades, and here's what the team's looking like heading into season number 1. I think the top 6 is looking really good. Over the next couple years, we will address the bottom 6. When it comes to the defense, that's in a really good spot. No questions about that. And then when it comes to goaltending, we can trust Elmark in between the pipes. I guess there is one other thing we should do before we head into next season, and that's hand out a couple extensions. So Claude Giroux, I can't give you a deal right now, but that's perfectly fine. When it comes to Edvinsson, you want $5.3 million. I could probably get this down to 4.9. So we'll do 4.9 for the next 4 years. He's going to be sticking around. Nick Jensen, I think you're going to walk, because more than likely Jordan Spence is going to take your place, and he only wants $2.7 million for the next 3, so we're going to lock him down. Chinakhov, I think we could sign you for pretty cheap. You want $3.4 million though, so I guess I'm going to hold off. And outside of those couple deals, we really don't have to worry about too much. So it's finally time for us to dive into season number 1 with the Ottawa Senators. Expectations are pretty high. I mean, truthfully, for every team we rebuild in this video, it's always Stanley Cup or bust. So I went ahead and made a bunch of trades, planning for this team to dominate the NHL. And I overlooked one thing, one crucial thing. Travis Green is our head coach. So because of that, we are one of the worst teams in the entire league. Travis Green is holding this team back. I fully expect once I bring in a new head coach next season, if I can bring in a new head coach, we're going to be perfectly fine. Travis Green's the head coach, therefore we're not seeing success. It's that simple. So we're not going to make any trades here. We're not going to do anything. We still own our 1st round pick, so we're perfectly fine there. Let's go get a top 3 pick, trade that away, and bring in some more superstars, and then fire Travis Green as soon as possible. All right, so moving into the offseason, we are hoping for one thing, and that is the 1st overall pick. Currently, we're the 3rd worst team, so at the very worst, we're getting the 5th overall pick. I can work with that. I think I can turn the 5th overall pick into something very valuable. More than likely, I'm going to trade the pick and not the player we select, because why would I draft a player who's going to have less value than the pick? If you know, you know. That's the way things go. Here's the team. Terrible. Not really my fault, though. Travis Green was our head coach. That kind of explains everything. When it comes to the Stanley Cup winner, that's the Colorado Avalanche. Watch this team win like 50 games next season. That is my prediction. We are going to win 50 games next season. It looks like the St. Louis Blues are getting the 3rd overall pick as they're dropping from 1 to 3 with the Red Wings pick. Meanwhile, the Ottawa Senators, they're getting the 4th overall pick. And that's not too bad. All right, so apparently nobody is interested in the 4th overall pick. There is only 4 teams interested in this pick. So what we're going to do is trade over to Philly for Porter Martone and Cam York. And what we're going to do with both of those guys is nothing, because we can't get both of them. However, we are going to acquire Porter Martone and something else, and then we're going to flip Porter Martone and whatever else we get. That other asset might be a guy like Tyson Forrester, and I think it will be, so I'm going to offer this package over to Philly. They're going to be rejecting. You're really telling me I can only turn the 4th overall pick into Porter Martone? Like, that's the best deal I could have done. Yeah, that makes no sense. So when it comes to Porter Martone, there are significantly more teams I can trade him to, so that's going to expand our options a ton. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Porter Martone is going to be sent over to Tampa Bay. Brandon Hagel, welcome to the team. You are going to be our 2nd line playmaker. You're going to play behind Tim Stützle as he's going to be our number 1 playmaker. I think this is a very good deal if we can get this done. I feel like we don't have enough draft picks because we basically trade everything away, but maybe, just maybe, we can get this one done. We're a little bit low. we are very close in this deal. So we need something that is slightly more valuable than our 5th round pick. Now, what is slightly more valuable? Clevin. I don't really want to trade Clevin, so hopefully Borgul is going to be the difference, and I don't think he will be. I mean, Tampa can just give me somebody who has absolutely no value. Ian Mitchell, I guess you can be that guy. Is this enough? They're saying no. Okay, I didn't want to do this, but we basically have to. I don't like trading picks for 3 years down the line, but in this situation, I have to trade a pick 3 years down the line. I need Tampa to accept this deal. Y'all are making this way too difficult. Here is a 2nd round pick. Just say yes to this deal. Thank you. Now, if we could pull off this deal, I think we're basically set for next season. Drake Batherson 1-for-1 for Seth Jarvis. Please say yes. Now, they're going to be rejecting. I am willing to trade Jordan Spence away. Even though the plan was for him to play 3rd pairing minutes, I'm willing to give him up in this deal in order for us to get Seth Jarvis. Like, at the end of the day, Jordan Spence is going to be a 3rd pairing player for me. Do I want to pay him $2.7 million to play in the 3rd pairing? Probably, but I'd rather have Seth Jarvis on the team. Now, before we finish up with the draft here, there is one more trade I want to make. Justin Brazeau, thank you for last season. Clevin, thank you for last season. I'm going to trade both of you guys now so we can get Pavel Dorfia, who's going to be a 2nd line sniper for me. Unfortunately, this package is not enough, so I'll give up a 3rd round pick for next season. I don't care about draft picks. Draft picks mean nothing to me, but you know what does mean something to me? Stanley Cups, and that's what we're looking to win next season. So after all those moves made at the draft, we have $13 million to work with. Of course, Pavel Dorfia, I'm bringing you back to the team. I brought you in to be our 2nd line sniper, so you're going to be our 2nd line sniper. Here's $5.8 million for the next 6 seasons. Claude Giroux, if I can bring you back at a cheap price to play bottom 6 minutes, I'll do so. And honestly, this isn't too bad. So I'll do 4.5 for the next 2 seasons. Claude Giroux's coming back to the team. Nick Jensen, you're going to be leaving. Chinikov, hopefully can do something a bit more reasonable this time. I don't like 3.6 million, but I'm still going to do this. This is a bad deal. Don't do deals like this. So after handing out all those deals, we have $2.7 million left. We're just going to sign a bunch of guys to 2-way contracts. So moving into the offseason, Zub is looking for a big contract extension. He wants $7.2 million. I don't think you're worth $7.2 million. So I'm going to give you $6.5 million. I think 6.5 is a lot more reasonable, but maybe we can save some more money here. 6.3 for the next 6. Now that's a deal I can get behind. When it comes to everyone else though, we don't really have the cap space for them. So yeah, they're going to be walking. So with the $2.2 million in cap space we have, we need to bring a couple defensemen to the team. One left defenseman and one right defenseman. Jordan Harris, I think you fit the criteria perfectly, so here's 1.7 for the next 3 years. And then we have to bring in one other really cheap defenseman. And how about stick on the ice legend Valimaki, except we don't have enough money for him, so we actually won't be going with him. So instead, we're going to go with Niels Lundqvist. We can bring him in for 1.4 million, assuming he accepts that contract. So over the offseason and at the draft, we made a lot of big changes. And now this team looks really good. The top 9 is spectacular. The defense, really strong. And then goaltending, that's something I don't have to worry about. But maybe I do, because Linus Ullmark's dropped to an 84 overall. But you know what? We have a better team in front of him. John Cooper is our head coach. So we're going to win 50 games. We got Travis Green off the coaching staff, and now we're going to see so much success, it's going to be a little bit ridiculous. Now, we're already off to a significantly better start than last season, because we've won more games than last season already. 9th in the entire league, a 36-23-5 record. We're scoring way more. We're keeping the puck out of our net way more. We're just better across the board. Every aspect of this team is better right now. Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, Seth Jarvis, you guys are looking great. Hagel, Protas, Dorfia, you guys are a pretty solid 2nd line right now. The team looks really good right now. Like, there isn't really any major concerns I have for us right now. We have a handful of young guys that are going to keep on getting better. So I don't really know if we make any trades here, not because I think our team is good enough, but because I've basically traded every asset away and we have nothing left. So yeah, let's not make any trades this season. So to finish out the season, the Senators were flying. We ended up finishing 6th in the entire league with a 50-27-5 record. The boys are actually looking really good right now. 3.61 goals for is pretty solid, and then 2.62 allowed. Well, that's an amazing defense. So we have a really good offense and a really good defense. Brady Tkachuk's currently leading the way with 96 points. Tim Stützle 90, Seth Jarvis 82. The 2nd line was really good after the trade deadline. I have very high expectations for this team heading into the postseason. Ullmark, you looked amazing all year, but can you win me some playoff games? Well, I guess we're about to find out. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 1st round. Don't lose to Toronto. So I need the Senators to lock in here. I don't want to end up falling to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Truthfully, I want to win a Stanley Cup right now. Let's end this in 2 seasons. Let's go ahead and win a Stanley Cup. We're off to a great start as we've won the first 2 games. Can we make that the first 3 games? Can we potentially sweep the Toronto Maple Leafs? We're 1 game away from doing so. Can we do it? It doesn't look like it. We're not going to be able to sweep Toronto, but we will take them down to 5-game series because we're not blowing a 3-0 series lead, right? We're not doing that. Ottawa, do not blow a 3-0 series lead. What are y'all doing? Things look so good through the first 3 games. We were unstoppable. And then these next 3 games happened. Wake up. I need this team to start doing something, and it looks like we have woken up. As long as we don't collapse in the 3rd period, we're winning this game, and that was closer than it should have been. But at the end of the day, we got past Toronto and we're moving on to the 2nd round. Now, considering what just happened against the Toronto Maple Leafs, I am terrified heading into the 2nd round. Like, I don't know if the Ottawa Senators are going to be good enough to get past the Florida Panthers. Like, we struggled against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Why would we be able to beat the Florida Panthers? And yeah, we're down 3-1. Clearly, this team's not ready to win a Stanley Cup. We're falling in the 2nd round. This shouldn't really be a surprise based on what happened against Toronto. Like, we were smoking those boys through the first 3 games, and then the next 3 games happened, and we're not going to talk about those games. So the Colorado Avalanche are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup, taking down Florida, but the Senators took the right step this season. They actually looked really good after the trade deadline. I think we're going to be able to build on that momentum heading into next season. I think we're in a great spot. Allmark, I'm not 100% sold on you right now. Can you step up for me? Because so far in the 2 seasons I've had you, you haven't really been that guy, but I still believe in you. I'm not going to turn my back on you quite yet. If you suck next season, though, I will be getting rid of you. Hold on now. Are we finally going to do it? Are we finally going to get an elite potential player in today's video? Yes, we are. A lowly potential playmaker in the 1st round. Kim Overtanen, welcome to the franchise. Now, moving into the offseason, we have $13 million to work with, but I don't think we're going to re-sign anyone here unless they're willing to accept 2-way contracts. I want to make sure that we have money for our extensions because there's a handful of key players that need extensions. So Brady Tkachuk and Thomas Chabot both need extensions. Brady Tkachuk's probably looking for a bag, and he wants a bag. What a surprise. Brady Tkachuk's not going to be taking a team-friendly deal here. We're going to be looking at $16 million for the next 7. A massive overpayment here. Yeah, this is just a bad deal. Like, objectively, that is a very, very bad deal. Thomas Chabot, you're not really much better here. Can we get this down to like $10 million or something? I'll do $10 million for the next 5 years if you're willing to accept that. And I think we can probably lock him down for that price. So Chabot's coming back, Kachuk's coming back, Claude Giroux's likely going to leave the team. Zetterlund's going to be leaving the team, but truthfully, I'm fine with that. We're still left with $13 million in cap space for this season. So let's go sign some players to 1-year contracts. All right, I'm going to keep it $150 with you. A lot of these guys I'm not interested in. So I think we're just going to trade for some old players on 1-year contracts. Like, if Ovi's on a 1-year contract right now, his trade value wouldn't be very high, and he'd be a huge upgrade for us. So this is what I'm thinking. A 2nd and 3rd rounder for Zach Hyman. He sims incredibly well in this game. He's going to be an amazing pickup. I don't know what else we have to throw into this deal. Like, I wouldn't be against throwing Zetterlund into this deal. So how about we do that? He's going to be the missing piece, and we're bringing in Zach Hyman. So we'll go ahead and make one more deal. A 1st-round pick for Rickard Rakell. We're ready for this upcoming season. We are looking to win a Stanley Cup. I don't think there's really going to be anything that can stop us. The team looked really good last season, but now we look significantly better. Okay, Brady Tkachuk and Thomas Chabot. I dislike both of you guys, and I dislike you quite a bit. Brady Tkachuk, here's your $18.5 million. I have offered them 3 different contracts now. They refuse to sign anything less than what they're asking for. So those are the contracts I'm giving you. If you don't sign, we need to win this upcoming season. I don't know what the problem is here. Thomas Chabot's going to be accepting. Brady's accepting now. We overpaid way too much there. All right, so we made some adjustments over the offseason. Zach Hyman, Rickard Rakell, you're going to be some great 3rd-line players for me. The defense looks perfectly fine. There are 0 weaknesses here. Just win when it matters. We're not going to stop at the trade deadline because I don't even think we have any assets left and we don't have any cap space left. The team that we have right now is the team we're sticking with, and it's the team that we're going to win a Stanley Cup with. Now, I was kind of hoping the Ottawa Senators would be better this season, but I guess that's not the case. 3rd in the entire league, a 50-25-7 record. We have the offense and we have the defense. So why aren't we winning more? Tim Stützle, 99 points. I mean, you were good enough. Brady Tkachuk, you were pretty solid as well. I think the offense did take a slight step back this season. I don't know why the offense would take a step back, though. I mean, technically it didn't take a step back. Our offense was better. It's just our top guys took a step back because they were playing less minutes because we have more depth on this team. Linus Ullmark, though, I am concerned about you. I don't think you're going to be our goaltender next season. I'm going to keep it $150. Unless we win a Stanley Cup here, Linus Ullmark's not returning to the team. We have to move on from him. He is just not the guy anymore. Now, there is a very easy way for him to prove that he is the guy, and that's just to win a Stanley Cup right here. If you win a Stanley Cup, then clearly you're the guy, but you're allowing 5 goals in game number 1 and 3 goals in game number 2. So Linus Ullmark is certainly not the guy. I don't think that we're going to be winning with him. Although we've won back-to-back games here, I don't think that really matters too much. We need to win 3 in a row, and then we need to make it 4 in a row. But yeah, we're toast. It's all over. Let's just simulate game number 6 and then move on to next season. We're losing in the first round. This team is a joke. We're going all in next season. I'm making some big trades. This won't happen again. So the Senders aren't good enough, but I don't think it's because of our offense. I think our offensive production is good enough here. What I think the problem is goaltending. Linus Ullmark, you're not keeping the puck out of the net enough. So we're moving on from Ullmark. We're going to make a couple changes to this team, but I think the foundational pieces are going to be sticking around. Okay, never mind. We're not moving on from Ullmark. For some reason, I thought eventually he had a modified no trade. Apparently that is not the case. We are stuck with him for next season, but maybe he can be an expensive backup, or maybe he's willing to waive his no movement. Like, best case scenario, he's going to be willing to be traded somewhere. I highly doubt he's going to be willing to move, and it doesn't look like it. So Linus Ullmark, you're going to be a very expensive backup for next season because you can't be the guy anymore. So we are just throwing everything at the Chicago Blackhawks here. Please accept this deal. Give me Spencer Knight. I desperately need him on the team. I don't understand why you're acting like you fleeced us, because all I added to that deal was a 4th round pick. I offered you that exact same package without the 4th rounder, and you said no shot, we accept it. I include the 4th rounder, and now it's a fleece. That doesn't make sense. Also, we don't have to worry about drafting here. Like, we literally have 1 pick, maybe 2. So we have $7.9 million in cap space. Zach Hyman, I would like to bring you back. And this is actually a very good deal. Zach Hyman is 100% coming back to the team. $2.4 million for the next 2 years. That's a steal. Claude Giroux, how much are you looking for? $2.1 million. You can come back to the team. Ricard Raquel, how much do you want? Because these are actually very reasonable deals. Ricard Raquel's not going to be coming back. He wants a bit too much. But yeah, these 2 deals actually worked out for us quite well. Now, I feel like year number 4 is basically just a must win for us because Protus wants $11 million. I guess we can bring him back to the team. This isn't really that bad because we're getting him for 8 seasons. I hope we don't need 8 seasons. If I'm still rebuilding the Ottawa Senators 8 years from now, we have a problem. Ridley Gregg, I don't think your contract extension should be too much. $5 million is a little bit much considering you're playing bottom 6 minutes, so I'm going to hold off with that one. And I guess that's all we really have to worry about. Linus Ullmark's not coming back to the team. Spencer Knight does want $10 million though, so I guess we do have to pay him. We're not going to be giving him $10 million. Instead, we're looking at 8.8 for the next 8 seasons. Spencer Knight, welcome back. So we need to bring in a couple players for 1 season. Now, I'm not sure who those players are going to be, but I kind of like Peyton Krebs. No, I do not. Paul Cotter, $1.2 million for you is an absolute steal. Welcome to the team. So Paul Cotter is going to be brought in to be our 4th line centerman. Who's going to be our 4th line left winger? Nemestikov doesn't make that much sense considering he is 35, but Morgan Barron, I don't hate $2 million for 1 season, so I guess I'm going to bring you in. And then when it comes to a right winger, who's going to be a very cheap player for us? Well, Vladimir Tarasenko is looking for $1.7 million. I know it's a 2-year deal, but it's Vladimir Tarasenko, so welcome to the team. Or I guess welcome back to the Senders, because you were here a handful of years ago. Okay, I actually give up when it comes to extensions. Nobody wants to play in Ottawa. Spencer Knight, I will give you exactly what you're looking for. Here's $10 million for the next 6. I just need you to accept that. Like, everyone is rejecting contracts. No one wants to play here. Thank you for accepting that. We need you here. Now, Ottawa, it has been win now mode for 3 straight seasons. You have not won at all. It is time to win this season. You can't complain about not having a good goaltender. Spencer Knight is here to take over. He is going to be the number 1, and he will lead us to a Stanley Cup. Once again, similar to last season, we're not stopping at the trade deadline. There's nothing for me to do. I can't afford to make any moves. Now, Ottawa, I don't think I can stress this enough. This is your time to win. First in the entire league, a 52-25-5 record. You have one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses in the league. Show up for me. I need you guys to win the most important games. Tim Stützle, 90 points. I don't care if the scoring doesn't look quite as good this season. And I don't care if these 2 guys right here have negative plus minuses. none of this matters, because who do we have in between the pipes? Spencer Knight, 42 wins, 2 shouts, a 911 and a 269. As long as you step up in the postseason, we will be Stanley Cup champs by the end of the year. We're taking on the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. I need the Senators to lock in. Like, all I'm asking for is 4 victories. Give me 4 victories in the first round, then give me 4 victories in the second, 4 in the conference finals, and 4 in the Stanley Cup final. I don't need you guys to go 16-0. If you go 16-0 though, I won't be against it, but just give me 4 wins in each round. We have a 3-1 series lead right now. We are 1 game away from advancing to the second round. I believe we can take down the Buffalo Sabres, and it looks like we're doing that. So we're moving on to the second round, and who are we going to get to match up against in the second round? We don't know yet. We have to simulate an additional day to find out we're taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. We will take down the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we won't almost blow a 3-0 series lead this time. We're just going to take them down 4 games, and we're going to move on to the next round. We're just going to keep it as simple as possible. A sweep over Toronto to start off the second round. That's the best start we could have gotten. So right now, the Ottawa Senators are 8-1 so far in the postseason. We're about to sweep the Philadelphia Flyers, 8 straight victories. I actually don't even know if it'd be 8 straight victories. It's probably more than that. But we can't worry about that because we dropped game number 1, win game 5, and advance to the Stanley Cup final so we can take on the Edmonton Oilers. 4 more wins is all I'm asking for. Just win me 4 games here. We've split the series so far. Game number 5 is a must win. We need to win game 5. Why are you doing this to me? So it all comes down to game number 6. We need to win game 6. We need to find a way to come out on top in this game right here. Jake Sanderson and Provis are picking up goals in the first period. Moving into the second, it's a scoreless one. Play amazing defense, and we can win this game right here. Did we play amazing defense? Absolutely not. We allowed 4 goals, but luckily we're picking up 2 goals in the final 5 minutes, and we're making it to game 7, but we did not deserve to win this game. Like, we should not have won that game. When you're allowing 4 goals in the third period, 90% of the time, you should lose that game. But somehow the Ottawa Senators came out on top. So we're moving on to game 7, a game that we have to win. If we win this game right here, we're Stanley Cup champions. It's tied entering the third period. Just win me 1 more period. Win me 20 minutes. But we're not doing that. After having a 4-2 lead, we're allowing back-to-back goals. But can we win overtime? Yes, we can. Thomas Chabot is picking up a power play goal in overtime, and just like that, the Ottawa Senators are Stanley Cup champions. That was way too difficult. Like, there is no reason this should have been as difficult as it was. The Ottawa Senators were a great team for a long time, but they can never step up in the postseason. Now, although we had a bunch of great performers, Brandon Hagel, Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, Thomas Chabot, Pavel Dorfia, none of you guys were really the MVP for us. The clear MVP was in between the pipes. Spencer Knight, 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 917 and a 258. Linus Ullmark, in the 16 minutes you played, you had an 833 and a 372. Clearly the difference was in between the pipes. Spencer Knight's winning the Ottawa Senators their first ever Stanley Cup. With this win right here, we've officially won 5 Stanley Cups. We're halfway done. That still means we have halfway to go. So the Ottawa Senators are Stanley Cup champions, and we're down to 5 teams. The next being the Vancouver Canucks. This one's actually going to be a little bit difficult, because the team's really not that good. Now, the Vancouver Canucks are one team that I know for a fact I'm not turning them around within 1 season. This is going to be a multi-year rebuild. Like, we're just not winning with this team in season number 1. Plain and simple. I can't stress that enough. This team is a long ways away from winning a Stanley Cup. So when it comes to moves we would make in year number 1, I don't even know what they would be. If anything, we're just going to be selling a couple pieces off. Like, I think what we have to do here is just embrace this team being absolutely terrible. We get the first overall pick. If we're super lucky, get a franchise potential player, draft said player, and then immediately trade him away, and then bring in like 5 guys who could help us immediately. Now, when it comes to moves we can actually make here, there are very few, because 90% of the players here have no movements, and then when it comes to Evander Kane, he doesn't really have any value. So what moves are we going to make here? None. I don't think we're going to make any, unless we want to move on from Thatcher Demko, and I wouldn't necessarily be against that. However, it's Thatcher Demko, so we're not going to move him. Alright, so we've made it to the trade deadline, and we all know who's on this Vancouver Canucks team. So how many wins do you think we have right now? 15? 20? 22? If we're lucky, maybe 30? No, we actually have 39 wins right now, and are one of the best teams in the entire league. I haven't done anything, and we are currently the second best team in the entire league. The Vancouver Canucks are the second best team in the entire league. I don't know what to say. There is literally no reason this team should be winning right now. Thatcher Demko is putting up godlike numbers apparently. There is no reason Vancouver should be in this position. I don't even know if I want to make trades now. Like, my plan originally was to just sell off a ton of pieces, but I don't think we should sell off anyone now because this team is very, very good for no apparent reason. So we're just gonna sit back and watch the rest of the season and potentially win a Stanley Cup in our first season with Vancouver, because that makes so much sense. Now, you know what? This kind of makes sense. So in the season Vancouver finishes third in the entire league, the Winnipeg Jets are the best team in the entire league. But yeah, we're third in the entire league and just won the Pacific Division, a 48-24-10 record. Nothing about this makes any sense. There is no reason we should be here. We are not a good team. We're not going to try to gas this team up. We are just not a good team. Objectively, not a good team. We are somehow one of the best in the entire league, though. We're taking on the Ducks in the first round. I don't really know what to expect. Let's win a Stanley Cup and make this a one-year rebuild. I was thinking this was going to take 4 years. Let's just win in 1 year. Now, if I'm being honest, I fully expect the Vancouver Canucks to lose 4 games in a row here and get swept. But we're immediately winning game number 1. We're dropping game 2, but we won game number 1, and I don't really know how we did that. We're also winning game number 3. Are we going to win game 4? Why are we winning all of our games in overtime, and why are they all 3-2 wins? We're going to win a Stanley Cup, aren't we? We just scored 9 goals. Nothing makes sense anymore. So we're advancing to the second round, and instead of taking on the Edmonton Oilers, we have the LA Kings instead. I have no clue how Edmonton fell to the LA Kings because that just doesn't make any sense, but we're taking on LA. We've dropped back-to-back games, but we're going to win game number 3. Can we win game 4 as well? It doesn't look like it. We're cooked. We're not making a 3-1 series comeback, except it would only make sense for us to somehow make a 3-1 series comeback here. We're about to win, aren't we? Like, I don't even get it. Like, I truly don't understand it. Vancouver really isn't that good of a team, but somehow we are dominating. We just scored 8 goals and made a 3-1 series comeback. Nothing about this makes any sense. Now, I'm just fully convinced at this point, logic doesn't exist in this game. To be fair, I kind of knew that for a long time. Like, the Winnipeg Jets dominate in NHL 26, and in reality, they're not that great of a team. We allowed 10 goals in game number 1, and we've now won 4 games in a row and are in the Stanley Cup final. The 2025-2026 Vancouver Canucks have now made it to the Stanley Cup final. We have split the series with the Montreal Canadiens. Game 5 is the most important game, which we are winning. We are 1 game away from winning a Stanley Cup here, and it's all going to come down to game 7. Game 7 is going to settle this one. I don't know how we've made it to this point. I don't really want to question things. Let's just win game 7. We have made it all the way to this point, so how about we just win a Stanley Cup? We have a 1-goal lead entering the third. There is just no way we actually close this out. I don't get this game. I really don't. How did we win a Stanley Cup? I didn't make any moves with the Vancouver Canucks. Not the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets I shouldn't have to make any moves with because they win 9 of 10 Stanley Cups in this game. The Vancouver Canucks in the big 2026. Like, dog, what are we talking about? It doesn't make any sense. The Vancouver Canucks. NHL 25 Thatcher Demko must have showed up. Except he probably didn't, because didn't we allow 10 goals in game number 1 against the Winnipeg Jets? This doesn't make sense. Why did Jake DeBrusk have 17 goals? Why did Evander Kane have 10 goals? Why did this team just dominate? I don't understand it. The plan for this season was to tank, get the first overall pick, pray that there's a franchise potential player, trade or draft said player, and then trade him for like 4 other medium league potential players so we can build our team around Z Boyum, Tom Willander, Braden Coots, basically around Elias Pettersson because we don't have a choice, around Brock Besser as well, around Jake DeBrusk, around Thatcher Demko. That is what the plan was. But Vancouver just said, nah, we'll just win a Stanley Cup in year number 1 after making 0 moves. This was the active roster for the 2025-2026 Vancouver Canucks. We won a Stanley Cup in year 1 in 2026. This is the team that just finished dead last in the entire league and I think only won like 22 games if they're lucky. They just won a Stanley Cup in year 1. Also, I just double checked. The Vancouver Canucks actually won 25 games this season. So round of applause for them. But in all seriousness, if there were two teams I expected to win in season number 1 with, it was the Winnipeg Jets because this game loves them so much, and the Minnesota Wild because they have a really, really good team. And all I have to really do is make 2 trades and then we're the Stanley Cup favorite. But nope, we're winning in season number 1 with the Vancouver Canucks because that just makes so much sense. We're moving on to the Seattle Kraken next. This rebuild will actually probably be a little bit difficult. Now, if you were to ask me maybe 10 minutes ago whether or not the Seattle Kraken would be winning a Stanley Cup in year number 1, I would say 100% no. Now I think there's about a 50-50 shot because if the Vancouver Canucks can do it, anyone can do it. I think there is a possibility this team wins a Stanley Cup this season. The percentage would be pretty low, but I think I still have to have it at 50% because if Vancouver can win, anyone can win. Okay, as of right now, there are 2 trades I'm looking at. This one right here, Jared McCann and a first round pick for Matt Boldy. Now this would be an absolute fleece for us. Like Jared McCann, although you're a solid player and all, you're not Matt Boldy. Riker Evans, do I think you're going to be a key defenseman for us in the future? I actually think you probably will be. Jamie Alexiak, can I add you to this deal? Yes, I can. If I retain half of his contract, can we get Matt Boldy? I think this would be a great deal for us. Alexiak, I don't really plan on bringing you back to the team for next season. Matt Boldy would be a game changer though. They're going to be saying no. I think we're not that far off. If I throw in a second round pick, we can probably get this one done. So I'll throw in a second round pick for next season. It's our second round pick. Can we please walk away with Matt Boldy? Perfect. But we're still not done. Because now we're going to head over to the LA Kings and Berkeley Catton. Unfortunately, I have to trade you away, but it's going to be worth it. Or at least it was going to be worth it. Because I was going to trade for Adrian Kempe, but he's not willing to join the franchise, so we actually won't be trading for him. Now, you know what? If I can't walk away with a guy like Adrian Kempe, I'll just bring in Cutter Gauthier. Like, I can definitely live with Cutter Gauthier. He can be a really good second line player for us. I'll throw in a 4th round pick for this season. That's going to be enough to get this deal done. I still want to pick up a sniper though, but I don't know if I should hold off until the offseason or not. Now we're going to make one more trade before we head into next season. JJ Peterka, we could desperately use a sniper on the team, and I think you fit that role perfectly, so welcome to the team. So I went ahead and made a handful of moves, and I believe the team is in a better spot now. I don't think we're going to be winning a Stanley Cup this season, but who really knows what's going to happen. Based on what we saw with the Vancouver Canucks, anything's possible. There is one last thing we do want to do before heading into this season. I should hand out some extensions. Because a guy like Cutter Gauthier needs an extension. Obviously, we have to pay to keep him on the team. $8.2 million really isn't that bad of a deal. But let's try to save a little bit of money. How about 7.5 for the next 3 years? Cutter Gauthier, welcome back. And then with everyone else, you have to walk because we don't have the money. I mean, I guess there is a very simple way to free up some money here. Grubauer, I can just trade you away. And that will free up a big chunk of money, won't it? Yeah, we'll free up about $6 million if I do that. Is there anyone that wants him? Nashville's interested, and it looks like the Winnipeg Jets are interested. I don't really care. Give me a 7th round pick, Winnipeg. We'll call up Matt Murray. That works for me. You know what? Now that we've traded Grubauer away, how about we bring Tolvanen back to the team? 3.9 for the next 6 seasons, and I'll even give you a no movement. If you're willing to accept that, you can come back to this team. Is giving him a no movement probably the wrong decision? Yes. But at that price tag, it kind of makes sense. Now, before we look at the Seattle Kraken, there's something else we have to look at. The Vancouver Canucks being one of the worst teams in the entire league. This exact same team won a Stanley Cup with me in one season. Within one season, I turned them into Stanley Cup champions. That still doesn't make any sense. Seattle right now is actually a pretty mid team. At the end of the day, if you don't count loser points, we're 30-31 right now, so we're technically below 500. Matt Boldy, he's doing a great job here, 52 points so far. Vince Dunn, 43. Matty Beniers, 40 points. Brandon Montour, 37. We still need to add a couple more pieces to this team because clearly we're not good enough. Like the offensive production here, not good enough. JJ Peterka, why do you only have 11 goals? You're supposed to be one of our big time performers, and you're doing a whole lot of nothing for me. Joey Decord, the defensive numbers from you are really good. Like the save percentage of goals against look fantastic. We just don't score here, and that's our main problem. That's honestly something I'm planning to address over the offseason. I didn't really expect this team to win a Stanley Cup in year number 1. Like, why would we win a Stanley Cup in year number 1? A bad team has never won a Stanley Cup in year number 1 before. That's never happened. So I was under the assumption eventually reality would set in and the Seattle Kraken would miss the playoffs. That didn't happen. We somehow made the playoffs with a 41-32-9 record, which in reality is a 41-41 record. We had a negative goal differential of -11, but we're in the postseason. I don't know how, but we are. And somehow we were second in our division. So you know what that means? We take on a very weak opponent in the first round. Now, who exactly is that opponent going to be? The San Jose Sharks. We have the Seattle Kraken taking on the San Jose Sharks, the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed in the Pacific Division. Yeah, there's a chance we make it to the second round. Now, I don't know what's happened these past 2 years, or at least these past 2 simulations. Like, Vancouver should not have won a Stanley Cup. Seattle should not be in the playoffs right now, but somehow we are, and we've won 2 games against San Jose. I mean, in reality, we probably should be able to take down the San Jose Sharks. Like, this is one team that we should beat, but we just allowed 8 goals. So yeah, we're probably going to lose in game 6, and if we don't lose in game 6, we'll lose in game 7, and if we don't lose in either of those games, we'll lose in the second round, because there's no way we're going to beat the Edmonton Oilers, or whoever makes it to the second round. We're taking down San Jose in this game, and we're moving on to game 7. So we're moving on to game 7 against the San Jose Sharks. This could really go either way. I could see us winning this game, and I could see them winning this game, but I think it's going to be us, considering we have a 3-goal lead entering the third, and yeah, we're winning 5-3. There's no way we go on a deep run, right? Like, there's no way we actually win a Stanley Cup here. If we beat our second round opponent, then I think that we can actually win a Stanley Cup. But there's no way we're actually beating the Minnesota Wild. Like, we're not going to take down the Minnesota Wild, right? We just won the first 2 games. We won the first 3 games. What are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing here? Now, I would like to say the Kraken are just defying the odds here and they're just blowing my mind. But I can't say that because I watched the Vancouver Canucks win a Stanley Cup in the big 2026. How on earth did they do that? I have no clue. Why did we almost sweep the Winnipeg Jets? That ended up being 9 straight victories for us. How on earth did we win 9 straight games? It doesn't make sense anymore. This really doesn't make sense. Like, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, I'm speechless. We're in the Stanley Cup final. How on earth did this team just make it to the Stanley Cup final? We have Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the last team that can beat us, but we're going to beat Tampa Bay. We have made it this far. We're not going to start losing now. One more victory gives us the Stanley Cup. This doesn't make sense. Nothing about this makes sense. We went 1-for-1 with the Vancouver Canucks, and then right after that, 1-for-1 with the Seattle Kraken. I understand going 1-for-1 with the Winnipeg Jets because Winnipeg is a glitch in this game. Seattle and Vancouver, we just won with. At this point, I'm almost thinking I don't need to rebuild teams anymore. Nope, I just need to simulate seasons because somehow we win. Like, if I'm not wrong, with the Vancouver Canucks, we were a 500 hockey team. With Seattle this season, we were also a 500 hockey team. Our goal differential was -11. We allowed 11 more goals than we scored. Capo Caco, for some reason, had 12 goals in 22 postseason games. Joey Decord, you are a superstar. A 921 and a 246. How did this happen? Isn't this the exact same record Vancouver had? Didn't they have a 16-5-1 record? I might be wrong. I might just be trying to connect the two. But what just happened? We have now won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2026. 1-year rebuilds with the Seattle Kraken and the Vancouver Canucks. 2 teams that should not be able to be rebuilt in 1 season. Like, who did we actually add to this team? We added Matt Boldy. He was a huge pickup for us. Then we added JJ Peterka, who was low-key a fraud. 4 goals, 13 assists for 17 points. He was no superstar. Cutter Gaucher, 6 goals, 5 assists for 11 points. He was there, but he wasn't a superstar either. This team just made it work. Like Jordan Eberle, how many minutes were you playing a game? 18 minutes per game, and you had 5 points. Somehow we made it work though. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I just want to remind everyone, I was struggling with the Buffalo Sabres when we had an elite team. I was struggling with the Ottawa Senators. That rebuild took us 4 seasons before we won a Stanley Cup. You're telling me with the Seattle Kraken, where I only made 3 trades, and the Vancouver Canucks, whose roster I just used without making any trades, won a Stanley Cup. But I'm struggling with the Buffalo Sabres, who are currently a top 5 team in the NHL, and I struggled with the Ottawa Senators, who I also believe were top 10 in the NHL this season, and I made significantly better. I struggled with those 2 teams, but Seattle and Vancouver, no, we're just going to win immediately with them. That makes no sense. San Jose, I am making 0 trades in year number 1 with you guys. Let's win a Stanley Cup. Now, San Jose, can you somehow keep the streak going? I can't imagine a world in which you keep this streak going. However, I didn't think it'd be possible for the Vancouver Canucks to win a Stanley Cup in their first season, and then I didn't think it'd be possible for the Seattle Kraken to win a Stanley Cup in their first season, but here we are. Back-to-back teams have been able to win during the 2026 season. Can San Jose become the 3rd team to do so? Well, we're about to find out. Now, as I just said moments ago, I'm not making any trades with San Jose. We are rocking the roster they have right now. Best case scenario is we somehow win a Stanley Cup here, even though we don't deserve it. The second best scenario is we're the worst team in the entire league. We get the first overall pick, draft a franchise potential player, and trade said player away for 5 elite players. That is the second best scenario. The best case scenario is just winning a Stanley Cup right here and making this a 1-year rebuild. Dog. We are only 5 games into the season, but I just need to point this out. We're 5-0. How on earth are we 5-0? We're 6-0 now. Are we ever going to lose a game? We finally lost a game to the Rangers, but we started the season 7-2. This makes no sense. Now, I just want to remind y'all something real quick. The actual San Jose Sharks finished 22nd in the entire league with a 39, 35, and 8 record, so they were below 500. What are the San Jose Sharks doing during the simulation? Well, they've won 35 games so far, 4 less games than they won in real life. How on earth is this Sharks team seeing success right now? 8th in the entire league. I haven't made any trades. We have the best defense in the entire league right now. The San Jose Sharks have the best defense in the entire league. How on earth do we have the best defense in the entire league? This is our defense right now. I just want to remind you, we have Nick Leddy on this team's defense. We have Vinny Desharnais on this defense. John Klingberg is on this defense. John Klingberg, definitely no defensive superstar. He can produce offensively, sort of, but he is a pylon on defense. There is no way this team is actually competing for a playoff spot right now. There is no way this team is actually going to make the playoffs. Why on earth is Ashcroft's save percentage a 925 right now and he has 6 shutouts? Dog, what are we doing? This game is broken. I don't know what's going on. We're about to win another Stanley Cup. I'm not making any trades. I am sick to my stomach. I struggled with the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres were 4th in the entire league with 50 wins in real life. They're putting pressure on the Boston Bruins right now in the playoffs, who were 8th in the entire league. But you're telling me the San Jose Sharks are about to make the playoffs? That's not right. You know what? I'm not turning on the face cam. We are just going to simulate this postseason. I'll look at stats and our record later, but there is no way possible this San Jose Sharks team wins a Stanley Cup here. There is no reason we should even be competing in the playoffs right now. We should have been one of the worst teams in the entire league. We split the series with the Seattle Kraken, a team who in the last simulation won a Stanley Cup. We're going into game 5. It's a must win for the boys and we're dropping that one. I can only imagine we're going to drop game number 6 and then we'll be eliminated from the playoffs. But nope, we're off to game 7. Why are we doing this? Why on earth are we actually competing in the playoffs? These last 3 simulations don't make any sense. There is no reason. Why did Celebrini just score a hat trick in the second period? I had to interrupt myself. I was about to say there is no reason we should be competing right now in the postseason, but Celebrini just had a 4-goal game. What are we doing here? This doesn't make sense. Like, it actually doesn't make sense whatsoever. So we're moving into the second round. We have the Edmonton Oilers. There is no way we stop Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Our defense is not good enough to stop those guys, and we are getting blown out in this series. Finally, something realistic has happened. We allowed a stupid amount of goals during this series, 23 goals to be exact. This is the first realistic thing we have seen in a very long time. Alright, so as we all know, the San Jose Sharks were good enough to make the postseason, 10th in the entire league. Still don't really understand that. I can only imagine this team is going to win a Stanley Cup next season, because why would we be worse than we were this season? Like, this team was ridiculously good for absolutely no reason. Like, there is no reason we should have been competing. Why did Ashcroft have 7 shutouts? I couldn't tell you, but he was just that guy during the postseason. Edmonton's winning the Stanley Cup. We got swept to them in the second round. Macklin Celebrini almost put up 2 points a game during the playoffs. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know what to say. We're losing to Edmonton, as we should be. Now, the only thing that does suck a little bit is we're not getting the first overall pick because we were a playoff team. Don't know why we decided to be a playoff team this season, but yeah, that's what we were doing. Okay, I'm about to make a deal here, and I know for a fact y'all won't see the vision, but you have to trust me on this one. Brady Shea and Matthew Wood. Now you might be thinking, Brady Shea is aging out. Why on earth would you do a deal like this? There is method in the madness right now, because we currently have a defenseman on the team that we're going to be trading away because his trade value is stupidly high. Now who exactly is that? Dmitry Orlov. I am trading him over the offseason. His no trade clause is about to become a no movement. We're going to be able to capitalize on that. We're going to be able to bring in a really good player for him. And then what's going to happen is Brady Shea is basically just going to be replacing him on the top pairing. We're in a decent enough spot. Now we're going to keep on making moves here, and Shakir Mukhamadullin, I really don't want to trade you away. So I'm not going to trade you away. Instead, we're going to be giving up Kurashev. He's going to be sent to the Boston Bruins along with the 62nd, the 105th, the 120th, and Quentin Musty. Morgan Geekie and Mason Lowry are both going to be brought in. Two guys who are immediately going to help our team. Now, we're going to make one last trade here where I'm going to be trading away a couple more good players. When I say a couple more good players, I mean like Adam Gaudette and Sam Dickinson. Because Sam Dickinson, I can't wait for you to develop. We need to win right now. Keandre Miller and Svechnikov are both going to be brought in. We are looking to make some noise next season. Now, you would think with all the money we've taken on right now, we wouldn't have cap space, but we still have $16 million to work with. So Mario Ferraro, you can come back to the team. I'll do 3.8 for the next 3 years. For an 84 overall, that's a pretty good deal. John Klingberg, see ya. I'm not bringing you back to the team. Colin Graff, I can do 1.8 million. Shakir Mukhamadullin, a stick on the ice legend. Here's 2.8 for the next 3 years. You can return as well. Nick Leddy, I'm actually going to release you. There we go. Desharnais, I'm actually going to release you as well. And then with everyone else, we'll give them two-way contracts. Now, before we make any more trades, we have to make sure that Macklin Celebrini is coming back to the team. He wants 12.9 million. I'll do 7 years just so I can give you a no movement. If I give you a no movement, we can save some extra money, and that's what we have to do. So we'll do $11.5 million for the next 7 years. Actually, I'll give you a little bit more than that because you deserve a little bit more. Here's $11.8 million for the next 7. When it comes to Will Smith, we're bringing him back to the team as well. He wants $9.8 million. I'll give you a no movement in that final season. We'll save some extra money. And we're actually going to end up saving quite a bit of extra money. We're going to get this down to like $7.8 million. Okay, 7.8 is definitely a stretch. But how about 8.2 for the next 6 seasons? Will Smith's coming back to the team as well. Mason Lowry, we actually have to free up some money because surprisingly, we don't have enough cap space. But I shouldn't really say surprisingly. We brought on a lot of players at the draft. Okay, I might have made a big mistake. I should have traded Wenberg and Kiefer Sherwood at the draft. I didn't trade either of those players. Now they have no trade clauses. So we're kind of stuck with them. Barclay Goudreau, we're not really stuck with you because your contract expires. But yeah, are you guys willing to waive your clauses? I think you should be willing to. Like, please tell me we can trade Kiefer Sherwood. Very convincing. We're going to be able to move him to 3 different teams. That's going to free up a lot of money, and that's going to help us a ton. And then Wenberg, please tell me the exact same thing. I can't afford to keep both of you guys on the team. Your contracts are just way too expensive. Wenberg's going to be able to be moved as well. Perfect. We're going to free up like $10 million. So Wenberg's going to be willing to go to 3 different teams, Nashville, Philly, and Pittsburgh. And then when it comes to Kiefer Sherwood, where is he willing to go? I have no clue. Detroit, Montreal, Toronto, we can make something happen. So the first thing we're doing is shipping Alex Wenberg over to the Nashville Predators. Luke Evangelista and 2 third-round picks are being brought in, except we can't get 2 third-rounders, but we can still get 1. And then when it comes to this trade we're making with the Toronto Maple Leafs, well, this is going to be the trade of the video because Kiefer Sherwood, a 3rd and 4th round, is being sent over to Toronto. Give me Brandon Carlo. Our right side is set for the future. Now, when looking at trade value, it's actually very close here. So can we go 1-for-1? Dmitry Orlov or Mo Seider, they're saying no. I will give up quite a bit in order to get this deal done. Here's a 5th and 6th rounder. I'm talking about giving up quite a bit, and all I add to the deal is a 5th and 6th rounder. But surprisingly, that is almost enough. We'll throw in Chicago's 7th round pick. Mo Seider, welcome to San Jose. Now, it turns out we actually have way too many left defensemen. So Mario Ferraro, I'm going to trade you over to Buffalo. Jack Quinn, a 2nd and 3rd rounder is going to be brought in. They're saying no. I'll take out the 2nd rounder, and then we'll just bring in Jack Quinn in a 3rd round pick. Now, for some reason, I completely forgot about this, but Askarov, you need an extension as well, so we should probably bring you back to the team. Can we do 9.6 million for the next 3 years? I think that's pretty fair. And then outside of Askarov, there is someone else who needs to be re-signed, and I'm talking about Brandon Carlo. How much money is he looking for? Yeah, we can get this done. Brandon Carlo, welcome back to the team. I'm giving you a no movement because you're an absolute superstar. Can we get this down to 4.5? Brandon Carlo, why do you always do this to me? Why do you always sign the greatest deals of all time? 4.5 million for the next 4 years for Brandon Carlo. He's an 85 overall. You can't find deals like that. Now, we went all in over the offseason, and now the team looks significantly better. San Jose is looking to make some noise. Just look at this defense. This is way better than it was last season. And then to cap it all off, Askarov's up to an 89 overall. San Jose actually might be able to win within 2 seasons. Like, if we were able to make the playoffs last season, then we're probably looking at 60 wins this season. There's no way we're worse than last season. We probably will be, though, because last season didn't add up. Now, so far, the San Jose Sharks are looking decent enough. We're 8th in the entire league with a 36-26-2 record. The offense still isn't elite, and that's kind of worrisome because I feel like we have enough offensive talents on this team where we should be looking a lot better. Like Macklin Celebrini, 70 points, Tyler Toffoli, 58 points, William Eklund, 58 points. I feel like our offense should be better. Like Svechnikov, you have 9 goals. Why do you always do this to me? I think I might be done trading for Svechnikov. He used to be okay in the past. Now he just doesn't score goals. He doesn't shoot the puck. What's the point in even having him here? So I am now looking to trade Svechnikov, and if I can find something that makes sense, we're going to pull off a deal here. But yeah, I doubt anything's going to make sense. It looks like his trade value is completely fallen off. We're probably just stuck with him at this point. Okay, I found something that is very interesting. Tage Thompson. I think there's a universe where we get this deal done. We have to free up cap space for next season, but I think we can do that very easily. Now, who am I willing to trade away for next season? Why do I keep looking at William Eklund? William Eklund kind of makes sense to trade away for next season because we need somebody whose cap hit is high enough. I guess we can talk with Tyler Toffoli because if we can get him off the books, that actually helps a ton. So Tyler Toffoli, is there any team you're willing to be traded to? It looks like it's very convincing. Okay, problem solved. Tage Thompson will come to the team. We just have to flip Tyler Toffoli first. So Tyler Toffoli, which teams are you willing to be traded to? Edmonton, New York, and Toronto. That could be a little difficult. Okay, I'm actually changing this trade up a little bit. Svechnikov, I'm going to send you over to the New York Rangers because Will Cooley's having a significantly better season and the talent that he's playing alongside isn't nearly as good. So we're going to try to go 1-for-1. We can't do that. That's not the end of the world. Now, Will Cooley has signed an extension, but his extension is like $4 million for the next 2. That is a lot better than Svechnikov's. So I'm going to throw in a 7th round pick. We're bringing Will Cooley to the team. Perfect. We're still going to end up trading Tyler Toffoli. I just don't really know what we're going to get for him. It might just be draft picks. We can't get a deal done with Edmonton. We can't get a deal done with Toronto. Who can we actually pull off a deal with? Okay, wait, hold on. Can I just do this? I might be able to trade for Lafreniere, and Lafreniere would be easier to trade away. That's what we're doing. We'll just end up trading for Lafreniere here. He'll be a way easier player to trade away because there's multiple teams that we can trade him away to. We have to throw somebody else into this deal. It's just got to be a young prospect. Ty Dellandrea, you're not a young prospect, but I can throw you into this deal. That frees up cap space. Now it's time for us to flip Lafreniere, and then we'll finally go get Tage Thompson. Because yeah, there's got to be a ton of teams interested in Lafreniere. Winnipeg is terrible right now. How has this team only won 16 games? It's the Winnipeg Jets in NHL 26. They should be winning. Move over to Vancouver, and I already know who I want to bring to the team. Give me Lekkerimäki. Lekkerimäki can play some big bomb 6 minutes. Give me Ogren as well. This is a great deal. I'm going to offer this one over. Vancouver saying no. I'll take out Ogren. We'll go 1-for-1. Lafreniere for Lekkerimäki. They think they're fleecing us, but they're really not. Because now that we have done all of that, we have freed up a lot of cap space, so we can go over to the Buffalo Sabres. I can offer Michael Misa, and we can get the man that we've been trying to get this entire time, which is Tage Thompson. Can I go 1-for-1 in this deal? Obviously not, but I do have draft picks I can work with, which is next season's 2nd round pick. That's not quite enough. I guess I'll give up a 1st round pick for next season, but I want some draft picks back. So how about you give me a couple 3rd round picks? I think this is a great deal. Are we finally bringing Tage Thompson to the team? It's not going to be that simple. I'll take out 1 3rd round pick. I have to take out another 3rd round pick, but we will get this deal done. Now it's time for us to finally win. So to finish out the season, I do believe the offense was better for the San Jose Sharks. We finished with a 47-32-3 record. Next season's when we take over. I don't really care that we're not ready to win a Stanley Cup quite yet. We will be next season. Tage Thompson's going to be a huge player for us next season. Very curious to see what he did since joining the team. I need him to be a big time performer, and that's what he was. He was a point a game for us. Him and Macklin Celebrini on the top line are going to do some incredible things in the future. Meanwhile, Ascroft, 41 wins, 3 shouts, a 904 and a 283. I wish the numbers were slightly better, but I think I can work with these numbers. We're moving into the postseason where we get to take on the Seattle Kraken once again. Let's just replicate what we did last season. So we're looking to take down the Seattle Kraken once again, and I believe we can do so. We're a better version than we were last season, and I can't imagine Seattle is significantly better. Like, we took a huge step in the right direction. Seattle, they might have taken a small step, but not nearly as big of a step as the San Jose Sharks did. We've won 2 games in a row, make that 3 games in a row. We're 1 game away from making it to the 2nd round, and I don't think the San Jose Sharks need to worry. They're taking down Seattle just like that. So we're going to be moving on to the 2nd round, and who do we get to face off against? No surprise, the Edmonton Oilers, the team that swept us last postseason. We're looking to get our revenge, and we are looking to sweep them. They actually might sweep us again here. That is crazy work. Okay, as long as we can avoid Edmonton, we'll win a Stanley Cup. No, that's actually crazy work. We looked really good in the first round, and then Edmonton just scored a billion goals on us, and we ended up falling. It's better than last season, but still, we got swept again. That shouldn't be happening. So the Florida Panthers are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup, and what a surprise, they're beating the Edmonton Oilers. I am tired of seeing that matchup. When it came to postseason scoring, Sabres was okay, 11 points in 9 games, not quite as dominant as last postseason, but that wasn't sustainable. Tage Thompson, 8 points in 9 games. I mean, you could have been a little bit better, but I'm not too concerned. This team will be even better next season. We'll be ready to take over the league, and we'll win a Stanley Cup in year 3. Basically, this entire team is coming back next season, except for a couple pieces. Now, moving into this upcoming off season, I think we should try to save money where we can. And Mason Lohrei, your trade value has gone up a ton. You're up to an 87 overall, but you want $7 million now, and I'm not willing to give that to you. So how about I package up Lohrei with the 23rd overall, and we bring Zane Parekh to the team. It's a little bit low, but we'll get this one done. So our defense is going to be absolutely loaded moving forward. I'll give up a 7th round pick for 2029 and we'll get this deal done. Zane Parekh, we don't have to worry about your contract this season. However, you do need an extension pretty quick. Now, I'm not really 100% sure how this worked out, but we have a lot of cap space. Like way more than I was expecting. So Luke Evangelista, I'll give you your qualifying offer. Jack Quinn, I actually think I'm going to let you walk. Leckermack, you're definitely one guy I want to bring back. Can we do 2 seasons? No, we cannot. So we'll do 1 season at 1.3 million. You'll play some bottom 6 minutes. And then with everyone else, I'm kind of hoping we can do some 2-way contracts. But you know what? After consideration, Jack Quinn, for 1 season, we can do this deal. I'll give you $4 million for 1 season. You can play some bottom 6 minutes once again. That doesn't hurt our cap situation that much because we still have $13 million to work with. So yeah, we can still go make a splash. Now, before we throw out a bag in free agency, let's throw a bag at Zane Parekh here because he deserves one. We're going to lock him down for about $8 million for the next 5 years. I'll do $8.1 million just to be fair. And with the $13 million that we have right now, we're going to go get ourselves a superstar. I mean, maybe a superstar is a little bit of a stretch because what kind of a superstar can you get with 13 million? But we're going to see what's out there. And I'm not going to lie to you. Quinn Hughes is interesting. Right now, we don't have the cap space for him, but I could free up the cap space for him very easily. Or there's Andre Burakovsky. That one's also very interesting. All right, so I am cooking up a huge deal right here. Frank Nazar is going to be acquired for Brady Shea, Luke Evangelista, and Jack Quinn. Now, they're interested in Luke Evangelista. They don't really want Jack Quinn. But what if I just take Luke Evangelista out of the deal and we do this right here? They're saying no. We are close. I understand that Brady Shea doesn't fit your trade block, but we are very close in a deal like this. How many more 3rd round picks do I have to give you? What if I gave you a 2nd round pick? The lucrative 2nd round pick, that's not going to be enough, but you know will be enough. The lucrative 7th round pick, if we had one, we'll throw in a 6th round pick. Is that enough for Frank Nazar? Perfect. Now, Frank Nazar is going to play some top 6 minutes for me, but the main reason we made that deal is to free up cap space. And why do we want to free up cap space? So we can sign this man to the team. Quinn Hughes, welcome. All right, so this is basically the best deal that I can offer Quinn Hughes. $17.85 million for the next 7 years. We don't even have that much cap space, but somehow I can offer him that contract. I don't really know how that makes sense, so we should probably make another deal here just to be safe. All right, so what we're going to do is Will Cooley, I'm going to trade you away because you've dropped 2 overalls. Wasn't really expecting that. So Gavin Brindley and Parker Kelly, welcome to the team because you're on cheap contracts. Now we just need to pray that Quinn Hughes is going to join the team. If we walk away with Quinn Hughes here, we are winning a Stanley Cup. No question in my mind. We're going to be taking one home this season. Zane Parech's going to be extending, and Quinn Hughes went to Dallas. We lost out on Quinn Hughes. Okay. So we need to pick up a left defenseman now. All right, now in normal circumstances, this would be a terrible trade, but we want to win this season. So 91 overall Roman Josi, welcome to the team. 85 overall Dave Perron, welcome to the team. We are trading an elite young player away to bring in 2 very old vets that will only be here for 1 season. But the only thing that matters is winning a Stanley Cup. So if they don't return next season after we win a Stanley Cup, that's perfectly fine. We're just worried about this season. Now we're left with 8.7 million, so I guess we can bring in somebody for 1 season. That player will be Lilyberg. Here's $800K for 1 season. And then with the remaining money we have, I guess we could sign a forward. But we're only bringing in somebody for 1 season. Marcus Johansson, Evander Kane. It could be one of you 2 guys, but I don't really want to go down that route. But you know what? We basically have no other option. So yeah, let's go after them. Evander Kane, I'll bring you in. You were here for season number 1, and somehow you were actually a very good player for us. So yeah, welcome back to the team. Marcus Johansson, I'll give you the exact same deal. You can't make us any worse. All right, we're getting nobody, I guess. Marcus Johansson's not signed with the team. What about Evander Kane? I guess he can join. There's actually a chance Evander Kane doesn't even play for us. I don't even know why I signed him. Alright, so we made some moves over the offseason. I truly believe this team is in a better spot. I think we can bring home a Stanley Cup this season. There are zero weaknesses on this team. Let's just bring home the Stanley Cup. Let's win 60 games along the way, and then let's go 16-0 in the postseason. Let's just keep it as simple as possible. We've made it to the trade deadline, and right now we have 40 wins, but that is nothing compared to the Colorado Avalanche's 47 wins. So even though I thought our team was great, apparently we're just not good enough here. Right now we can't compete with the Colorado Avalanche, and that has me a little bit concerned, because Colorado, they've been pretty solid so far today. Honestly, I don't even recall how good they've been in this simulation. I just know in general, the Avalanche have been a really good team in today's video. They've been able to win a couple Stanley Cups, but are they going to be good enough this season when San Jose is putting on pressure to win a Stanley Cup? I guess only time will tell. I don't think we're going to make any trades here. We made a lot of moves at the beginning of the season. I like where the team's at. We have 40 wins right now, so we probably shouldn't question anything. Now, to finish up the season, we actually closed the gap on Colorado quite a bit. They're in the entire league, a 54, 22, and 6 record. It's our time. It is our time to win a Stanley Cup, even though Tampa Bay's defense was better than ours, and even though Colorado's offense was better than ours, and their defense was better than ours. It is our time to win a Stanley Cup. Celebrini, it's time for you to take one home. William Eklund, Tage Thompson, this is probably the best team we're going to have. I can't imagine us having a better team in the future, so it's our time to take it home. Let's lock in. If we were able to win with the Vancouver Canucks and the Seattle Kraken in year number 1, we should definitely be able to win with San Jose in year 3. So San Jose, I just want you to take this one game at a time, one period at a time, one series at a time. If you lose game number 2, it doesn't matter. Oh, they actually lost game number 2. Okay, that kind of matters a little bit. Why are you dropping game number 2? I didn't want you to drop game number 2, and I also didn't want you to drop game number 4, but apparently that's what you're doing. So let's win game number 5 here. Why are we making this so difficult? It doesn't have to be this difficult. Let's just get past Winnipeg here and then move on. So let's win game 6 and then win game 7. We can keep this really simple, or we can just lose here. You can do that as well. Or Celebrini can take over. That can also happen. Shout out to William Eklund. We're off to game 7. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit embarrassing that we're struggling in the first round, but we also have to remember, we're taking on the Winnipeg Jets. It's the Winnipeg Jets in NHL 26. Obviously, they're going to be incredible, and obviously, Celebrini is going to score every goal imaginable for us, because that is all he does. Wow, we almost lost this game. Luckily, we're coming out on top, but it shouldn't have been that close. So we ended up struggling against a wildcard team in the first round, but that wildcard team was the Winnipeg Jets. So in reality, we struggled against a top 5 team in the first round. Hopefully we can figure it out moving forward. We have a 3-1 series lead on the Anaheim Ducks. I can't imagine we're going to choke this one away, so we should be moving on to the conference finals, right? We're not going to drop game 6, right? We're just going to move on from here. Perfect. After I saw game number 5, I was getting a little bit concerned, but we get Chicago in the conference finals. Lock in. You don't have to play through Colorado anymore. Just lock in right here, beat the Chicago Blackhawks, and then move on to the Stanley Cup final. We don't have to worry about the Avs. We are 1 game away. Just win me one more game. Do not go to game 7. Win me one more game. We're here. We're in the Stanley Cup final. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning up next. I'm assuming it's Tampa Bay. It looks like it is. I had a feeling we were going to see Tampa Bay in the Stanley Cup final, considering they're one of the best teams in the entire league. But can we close it out here? We split the series so far. It's a best of 3 moving forward. We need to win game number 5, and we're dropping it 2-1. Why are we doing this? Game 6 is a must win. Do not fold. San Jose, we have made it this far. You might as well win. We're picking up a goal in the first period. Shout out Tage Thompson. Moving into the second, we're picking up another goal. JJ Moser picked up one for Tampa Bay, but can we close it out? Can we play some elite defense in the third period? Yes, we can. But our offense is going to be a bit better than our defense. Now, Tampa Bay, I think you messed up big time. You had your opportunity to eliminate us. You had your chance to take us down, but you didn't. And now we're in game 7, and now it's time for San Jose to close it out. Frank Nazar is picking up the first goal. Moving into the second, Roman Josi scoring. You know Macklin Celebrini is going to pick up a goal in the third. So as long as Tampa doesn't score 3 unanswered, we're going to be winning this one. And Celebrini, we didn't even need your goal because Evander Kane's picking up one in the third period. Tampa Bay was only able to pick up one. And just like that, the San Jose Sharks are Stanley Cup champions, and we're down to our final 2 franchises. So as I just mentioned, we're down to 2 franchises. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota should be fairly easy. And Columbus, I feel like you have a decent amount of young pieces. You have a great defenseman, Zach Werenski. You have Jack Reeves in between the pipes. What more could you need? When it comes to our postseason scoring, no surprise, Macklin Celebrini was the guy. 15 goals, 19 assists for 34 points. Tage Thompson, 13 goals, 16 assists for 29 points. William Eklund was great. Roman Josi, what a pickup that was. Morgan Geekie, I expected a little bit more from you, but 23 points in 26 games, I'm not going to complain. And then when it comes to goaltending, wow, Askarov sucked. A 903 and a 305. Good thing we were scoring 4 goals per game, because if not, there's no way we would have won a Stanley Cup here. Like, there is literally no reason we should have won with these numbers, but a win is a win is a win is a win. We're moving on to our next team. So who is our next team going to be? Is it Columbus? Is it Minnesota? It looks like we're going to be moving on to Minnesota next. That should be a pretty easy rebuild, and then we'll finish it all off with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So the Minnesota Wild are the next team we're rebuilding. We're down to our final 2 teams, and this one should be fairly easy. You're off. You're 100% getting traded because you have medium league potential, and I should be able to get something pretty good for you. The defense is good. Goaltending is good. I might even trade Jesper Wallstedt because Gustafsson's locked down for a handful of years. Unless I can trade him away, we can get something really good for him, and we might do that. We're going to be making some trades that the Minnesota Wild 100% wouldn't make. But in a video game, these are going to be elite trades. Like, yeah, just look at Gustafsson's trade value. I feel like I have to capitalize on this. Like, Jesper Wallstedt, I could trade you away, but you have less trade value. So Gustafsson just makes more sense. All right, so let's start making trades here. Nick Foligno and a 6th-round pick is going to be sent over to Calgary. Victor Olsson's going to be brought in because he's on a cheaper contract and we need to free up some cap space. Now, I just want to give a huge shout out to Urov because there's no reason this trade should happen, but it's about to happen. Urov and Jared Spurgeon for Cole Caulfield. Now, we have to throw a couple picks into this deal, but I'm 1000% okay with that because we are getting Cole Caulfield. Now, I was kind of hoping this package would be enough right here. I'm starting to think it's actually not going to be enough, but it 1000% is. So we just brought in Cole Caulfield. Alright, so now we need a replacement for Jared Spurgeon and Samuel Girard. I think you can fill that role perfectly. You and Sheila for Philip Gustafsson. I like this deal quite a bit, except I want something else back in this deal. Can you give me a third pairing right defenseman? Like Connor Clifton, I feel like you're getting paid way too much, and it looks like you are. Matt Dumba, you're getting paid too much too. Alright, do we go with Brunik? Actually, Brunik makes a lot of sense. This is a very good deal for us. We'll have to throw in a couple draft picks, but this deal works out pretty well. So here's 2 5th-round picks. Hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference. They're still saying we're off. I'll give you a couple other picks. Here's a 6th-rounder and a 4th. Please tell me that's enough to get this deal done. Perfect. Okay, so in reality, once we're done all of these trades, Minnesota should probably win about 65 games because this team is going to be very, very good. We have to throw in a 7th-round pick, except we don't have that. Here's a 5th-rounder in order for us to get a 3rd-round pick. I don't know how we're going to be able to extend Trevor Zegras, but I'm not really worried about that right now. All right, so let's finish it off with one more move. Fraser Minton and Kuznetsov, I'm bringing both of you guys to the team. You're playing bottom 6 minutes. Let's roll. All right, so after all the trades I made, here is the new Minnesota Wild. There is no reason we shouldn't win the Stanley Cup this season. We should win 60 games. I'm not stopping at the trade deadline. There's no reason to stop at the trade deadline. We look incredible. So as you can see, the playoffs are complete and the Carolina Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions. There is only one reason we would assimilate to the end of the postseason, and that would be because Minnesota missed the playoffs. This team missed the playoffs. John Hines, you're gone. You will never coach another minute for this franchise. You're an absolute joke. I never want to see you again. This team should have been so good, but we missed the playoffs. Like 16th in the entire league, this doesn't even make sense. This is an absolute joke. Minnesota should have been number 1 and only number 1. Why on earth would this team not see success? This is a joke. When it comes to goaltending, Wallstedt, I'm not putting any blame on you. This was our head coach. This was John Hines' fault. Like, this is unbelievable. We won in season number 1 with the Vancouver Canucks. We won in season number 1 with the Seattle Kraken. And we won in season number 1 with the Winnipeg Jets. What do all 3 of those teams have in common? They're all non-playoff teams right now. But the Minnesota Wild, but out of all teams today, the Minnesota Wild are missing the playoffs. No, that's a joke. We're actually not even going to stop at the draft here. If anything, I'm actually just going to hand out contract extensions right now. We're going to check on a couple guys. Zuccarello, how much money do you want? You want $7.4 million? We have $17 million to work with. I am going to give you a no movement, and we're going to try to save as much money as humanly possible here, because I need you to come back to this team. Here's $6 million for the next 2. When it comes to Trevor Zegras, how much money does he want? $9.1 million. I don't know if I can do that. But what if I give you a no movement in year number 3? Can we get this down quite a bit? I think we can. We might be able to get this down to like 7.5 million. 7.5 might be a stretch. So instead, I'll offer him 7.7 million. And we're going to hope for a miracle. So we're just going to simulate through the draft. There's no point stopping. We don't own any picks. And if we do own any picks, it's like a 7th round pick. Who cares? We are interested in 2 players. One of them being Zuccarello and the other being Zegras. He's accepting. Perfect. We're bringing back those 2 important players. Everyone else honestly doesn't really matter. So we have $5.5 million left in cap space. Marcus Johansson, I can bring you back at this price. You're an 84 overall. Here's 2.5 for the next 2 years. Victor Olofsson, unfortunately, you're going to have to walk. Tarasenko's going to have to walk. Zach Bogosian's going to have to walk. I can live with that, though. McCarron, I can bring you back for 1.8 million. You can be a 4th line guy for me. Robbie Fabry's going to be walking, and so are the rest of these guys. All right, so we actually do have a little bit more cap space. So Tarasenko, I can bring you back for 2.5 million, but I'm actually going to give you a modified no trade so we can save a lot of money here. Like, we need to save as much money as possible. Can I get this down to 2.2 million? I think I can. Tarasenko, welcome back to the team. That's a great deal. And then as I mentioned earlier, with everyone else, they're going to be walking. I guess I should check in with Sheeloff. Maybe we can bring him back to the team, but he wants $2 million, and we don't have that. All right, so we have a couple extensions to hand out, and we have to spend quite a bit of money. Quinn Hughes, can we afford you? You only want to sign for 1 season. I'm going to hold off then because I need to bring you back for more than 1 season. Ideally, we don't need you for more than 1 season. We also need to sign Jesper Wallstedt. Okay, we're going to pray for a miracle. I'm not going to re-sign any of these guys. We're not handing out any extensions because I'm going to fire our head coach, bring in a new coaching staff, and then we'll just win a Stanley Cup. Like, we should have been top 3 in the entire league last season. I don't know what happened, but we will bounce back this season and we will be significantly better. So we are going to make 1 free agent signing. And what is that free agent signing going to be? Basically a backup goaltender. I don't want to bring in a 76 overall. James Reimer. I guess you're going to be the guy. You're a 79 overall. I'm not doing 2 years though. I'll do 1 year with a no movement. So we need to sign 1 backup goaltender. And Fedotov, you're an 80 overall, so I guess that's good enough. Here's $1.3 million. I'll give you 25K more than what you're asking for. All right, we're cooked. John Cooper's not signed with the team. Can we bring in John Tortorella? No, we can't. I offered both of them contracts. We're cooked. We don't have a chance at winning next season. All right, now a normal person moving into season number 2 would be really excited. They would think that this team right here would be good enough to win a Stanley Cup, but we won't be. And why exactly is that? Our coaching staff is worse than last season. I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, it's actually worse than last season because we missed out on the 3 coaches I wanted. John Hines, I fired you, so you're not our head coach this season. This season's going to be a disaster, and I already know it. Like, I was fully expecting Minnesota to be one of our easiest rebuilds. Like, no way we fail with this team, but apparently we are going to fail, and it's going to be a disaster. Yeah, so this is all I'm going to show you. 29 wins right now. That's what we have. We have 29 wins. I don't know what to say. We need a new coaching staff. I'm really hoping there's some good coaches available during the offseason because this is an absolute joke. I understand why coaches impact the teams as much as they do, but this is beyond stupid. You're telling me this Minnesota Wild team isn't seeing success. If I was coaching the current Minnesota Wild team, I could walk into that locker room and just go, all right, boys, let's play some hockey tonight. And they would probably win 48 games throughout the entire season. I could do a whole lot of nothing and those boys would win 48 games. But you're telling me when I have like an A overall head coach, they can't win? That's stupid. Like, absolutely stupid. We're starting to win a couple games now. Maybe we can sneak into the playoffs. Probably not. But yeah, coaches shouldn't have this much of an impact. Like, you're telling me I can win with the Vancouver Canucks in season number 1, but here we are in season 2 with Minnesota, who is a significantly better team by the largest of margins, and we still can't see success. Like, that's not right. All right, so I have a pretty good plan heading into the offseason. So what we're going to do is get a high up draft pick because we weren't that good, 22nd in the entire league. We are then going to package that up with next season's first round pick. We're going to try to get the first overall pick, draft a franchise potential player, trade said franchise potential player away for 4 other medium league potential players who are on their entry level contracts, and then we are going to take over the NHL because this game is stupid. I still haven't re-signed Quinn Hughes. He can't be looking for too much considering he only had 67 points. Jesper Wallstedt, you can't be looking for too much money either considering your numbers suck this season. We should be able to re-sign these guys for fairly cheap. We're going to double check with Quinn Hughes right now. How much money is he looking for? It honestly can't be that bad. Quinn Hughes, 15.1 million. That is actually very reasonable. Now, of course, I'm going to give Quinn Hughes a full-on no movement. We'll get this down to $14 million for the next 8 seasons. That's going to leave us with about $10 million to work with. Now we're going to move over to Jesper Wallstedt and figure out how much money he wants. He now has low franchise potential, so maybe we should trade him away. 8.2 million for 1 season. What if we did 2 seasons? Then he wants $9 million. I'm actually going to hold off with you till the re-sign phase because maybe you'll smarten up. Okay, for some reason, I thought we still had our first round pick. I forgot we traded that to Philadelphia. Is there any universe where we get the first overall pick from the Islanders? Perhaps. Because low franchise potential for Jesper Wallstedt probably gives him a lot of value. We're going to pull off a very questionable deal here. Alright, so plans changed a little bit because apparently there are multiple franchise potential players in this draft. So St. Louis, you're going to send Pius Suter my way just so we can make the contracts work here. It's actually more to make the rosters work, but that's neither here nor there. A first rounder and Jonas Brodin for the 2nd overall pick. They're saying no, as they should be. What else can I throw into this deal that's not Jesper Wallstedt? I guess I can throw in all of these draft picks right here. Is that going to be enough for the 2nd overall? They're saying no. I might have to throw Jesper Wallstedt into this deal. I don't really want to, but we might have to. I mean, I guess I could throw in Joel Eriksson-Ek, but I don't really want to do that. Who else can I throw into this deal? Benak, I can throw you into the deal. Riley Heidt, I can probably throw you into this deal. Hopefully that's going to be enough. They're saying no because they would have too many players under roster. How about you give me a couple other players that you don't even want? Please tell me this is going to be enough for the 2nd overall. They like Adam Benak. Okay, we're about to get stupid. Jesper Wallstedt, you're being traded away. I didn't want to trade Jesper Wallstedt, but we have to, because I need the 2nd overall pick. I need this pick from St. Louis. We need to add a little bit more. We are finally getting this deal done. Next season is Stanley Cup or bust. More Stanley Cup or bust than it ever has been in the past. We are about to walk away with a franchise potential player. Landon Dupont is going to be drafted 2nd overall. We are now going to trade Landon Dupont, and we're going to bring a lot of assets to the team. I'm probably going to hold off until the offseason just so I know exactly how much money we have to work with. And then once I know how much money we have, we're making some big splashes. And honestly, Landon Dupont, do not be surprised if I trade you back to St. Louis. So we have $16 million in cap space. Samuel Girard, I'd like to bring you back to the team, and I think this is a pretty fair price for you. We can do $6.5 million for the next 4 years. That's very reasonable in my eyes, so Samuel Girard's coming back. Fraser Minton, this should be pretty cheap, 1.7 million. That's a steal. Kuznetsov, I'm hoping it's the exact same for you. You want 1.9 million. I'll give you 1.8 million. 2 very cheap players for the bottom 6. When it comes to everyone else, I'm not too concerned. We'll sign a couple guys to 2-way contracts here, and then we're moving on from Landon Dupont. Also, I guess we still own Shelov's rights, so here's $900K for the next 2 years. You're going to be our backup, because obviously we're going to have a better starter than you. Now, before we do anything big here, Marcus Foligno, I'm trading you over to Boston to get a 6th round pick. I need to free up that $4 million. Now, Landon Dupont, you were going to turn into about 5 good players. Now, we've lost Gustafsson, and we've lost Jesper Wallstedt, but now we have Connor Hellebuyck. We are ready to dominate. Also, part of the reason I made that trade is I'm assuming Winnipeg's 1st round picks are going to skyrocket in value, and that's exactly what happened, because now Winnipeg doesn't have a goalie. Their starting goaltender is Eric Comrie. Therefore, as of right now, their picks don't have that much value. Also, Eric Comrie is actually not the goaltender, it's Ersson. Let's capitalize on those 1st rounders. Now, with one of those 1st rounders that we acquired from the Winnipeg Jets, I'm going to send that over to Anaheim. We're going to bring in Seneca and Drew Helson. Seneca's going to be a great guy for the bottom 6. Drew Helson's going to play some good 3rd pairing minutes, but we're still not done. Alright, so Nikishin is an 86 overall and is only getting paid $2.3 million. Here's a 1st round pick for him. That apparently isn't enough. I will give you a 2nd round pick as well. That should be enough to bring in Nikishin. Apparently it isn't. What else do you want? Here's all of these draft picks right here. I don't care if I'm overpaying. Nikishin, welcome to the team. Alright, so we really don't have enough cap space to use Winnipeg's 1st round pick, so I'm just going to trade all of these picks for Jimmy Snuggerud. I don't care if I overpaid. Jimmy Snuggerud, welcome to the team. Now we should be good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Now, I have just about lost my mind with this Minnesota Wild team, but we finally got a good head coach. Jared Bednar is the coach heading into this season. This team better win 70 games this season. There are 0 weaknesses. Somehow we have Connor Hellebuyck as our starting goaltender. No more failing, no more letting me down. Lock in. Also, I'm not even stopping at the trade deadline. There's no point in stopping at the trade deadline. The only thing we could do is possibly trade Winnipeg's 1st round pick, but we don't have cap space to bring anyone in, so there's no point in doing that. So we brought Jared Bednar to the team, and then we proceeded to finish 1st in the entire league with 57 wins. We had one of the best offenses in the game, and by far the best defense. This is why I think it's stupid that head coaches mean this much. Because what do you mean we were the best team in the entire league because we changed our head coach. Everything about this team is the exact same as last season when we were one of the worst teams in the entire league, but now that we have a different head coach, we're the best team in the entire league. A head coach shouldn't make that much of a difference in a video game. I understand it making that much of a difference in real life, but in a video game, it shouldn't make that much of a difference. Like, that's just stupid. We're taking on the Dallas Stars in the first round. Let's lock in. Now, Minnesota, please lock in. Just do your thing here. Figure out ways to win games in the postseason. Do not drop game number 2. Why are you dropping game number 2? We should not struggle against the Dallas Stars. Even though the Stars are a good team, we shouldn't struggle against them because they are a wild card team. Lock in, Minnesota. Start winning some games. Do not blow a 3-1 series lead. Please figure it out here. I can't deal with any more disappointment. Like, I can't handle this. Why are we losing all the time? This team should be so incredibly good. And it looks like we're finally good. We're scoring 7 goals in game number 7. That's what we should be doing in every game. So we scored 7 in game 7 and we can move on to the second round, and now we get to take on the Utah Mammoth. Utah is another team we've rebuilt in this video. They haven't been able to win any Stanley Cup so far in their franchise history. Granted, they haven't been around that long, but we have a 3-0 series lead on them. We're taking them down game number 4 and we're moving on to the conference finals. So we've won 5 games in a row now, but I'm looking to make that 9 games in a row. Let's sweep the Vegas Golden Knights so we can move on to the Stanley Cup final. We dropped game number 1, not what I was looking for, but we've won 3 straight games after that. Can we make it 4 straight games in game number 5? It doesn't look like it. That's perfectly fine because we'll just close out in game number 6, and now we're in the Stanley Cup final. 4 wins is all I asked for. 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. Give me all those right there. Give me 4 wins right now, and it looks like we're 1 win away. Just close it out in game number 5. Thank you, Minnesota. You made this 10 times more difficult than it had to be, but thank you for finally showing up. So Quinn Hughes, 30 points. Zuccarello, 25. I don't care about the numbers. Like, I actually couldn't care less about any of these numbers right here. 16 playoff wins is the only number I care about. The offensive numbers do not care. The defensive numbers do not care. Goaltending numbers do not care. I don't care about any of these numbers right here. The only thing I care about is a Stanley Cup, and that's what we walked away with. So we've won Stanley Cups with 9 of our 10 teams. It's finally time to move on to our final team, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Here we go, the final team that needs to win a Stanley Cup, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, there's a lot of great pieces on this team, a lot of guys that we can build around. I don't really know how much the simulation hates this team. I guess only time will tell, but I do think we're going to make a couple trades in year number 1. Kent Johnson is one guy I'm considering trading just because he has medium league potential. I think we can get a better playmaker than him. Alright, so this is a very interesting trade. Fabreau, Charlie Coyle, and 2 second rounders for Ovi and Connor McMichael. Now, Ovi is 40 years old right now, but we have to remember, he simulates incredibly well in this game. So if I throw him on the top line, I think he's going to see a lot of success. Connor McMichael, I'm not really as focused on you. So if we can't walk away with Connor McMichael, that's not the end of the world. I guess we can get Sordiff instead. I think that would still be a great trade for us. Hopefully Washington's going to say yes to this, and it looks like they are. Alright, now this might look like a questionable deal, but you have to understand the thought process. Connor McMichael, your $6 million extension kicks in next season. We already have a ton of snipers on the team, so I don't really need you. Kent Johnson, I just don't think you fill a role in this team. Lafreniere, a second and 2 third-round picks is going to be acquired. I feel like it just makes sense. Lafreniere, you're going to play some top-line minutes alongside Ovechkin. Now, before we move forward, we should check on some contract extensions. Adam Fantilli, how much money do you want? $6.5 million. Honestly, that's not that bad. We can bring you back to the team for sure. I'll do $5.9 million for the next 6. I think this is going to be a solid deal for us. You're going to be a top-line player. It's going to be well worth it. Alexander Ovechkin, I'm not sure if I should extend you right now, but I'm definitely going to. We're going to do 2 years with a full-on no movement. You're sticking around, and we'll actually save some money. I'll do $7 million for the next 2 years. I think that's a great deal for Ovi. We know for a fact he's going to be scoring goals. Mason Marchment, more than likely you're leaving. Boone Jenner, you're probably going to leave as well. Honestly, I think the rest of these guys will be leaving. And then when it comes to Jet Greaves, our number 1 goaltender right now, I'll definitely give you $6 million. Except I do want to save some money, so here's $5.5 million for the next 2 years. You're still worth every penny. So even though our team does look improved on paper, that doesn't matter at all. None of this matters because only one thing impacts your team, and that's your head coach. And right now, I don't know if we have a good enough head coach, so only time will tell. That is why I really hate the way the coaching staff is set up in NHL 26, and I guess that applies to a lot of the NHL games recently. I understand why coaching impacts your team, but it impacts the team way too much. Like, look at that Minnesota team we had last season. You're telling me they're going to miss the playoffs in the first 2 seasons just because of their head coach. And then when I bring Jared Bednar onto the team, we're immediately the best team in the entire league. That just doesn't sit right with me. Rick Bowness, hopefully you're really elite, because we want to try to end this video as soon as possible. Now, my main concern heading into this season was Rick Bowness wouldn't be a good enough coach for us, and it appears that is the fact. Columbus, 19th in the entire league. Rick Bowness isn't good enough. We need to pick up John Cooper during the offseason. I know I keep ranting about the coaching in this game, but that is one thing that certainly drives me nuts. I basically have to bring in John Cooper every season, and if I don't have John Cooper, then my teams won't see success. I need John Cooper on the team so bad, and without John Cooper, I don't see success. We don't win games. It's kind of ridiculous. Obviously, we're not going to be buyers here. We're probably going to be sellers, but I don't really want to sell too much. Now, based on some of the trade values here, I actually don't think we're going to sell at all. Maybe I'm going to get rid of Olivier, but he is up to an 84 overall, so I guess I can hold on to him for $3 million. So yeah, we're not going to make any trades here. We're going to stick with what we have. Now, unfortunately, it appears the Columbus Blue Jackets just weren't good enough to compete this season. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the NHL. I guess they were slightly better than I thought. That's only because of the 12 overtime losses. In reality, we weren't that great. The offense wasn't good. The defense wasn't good. But all that will change once John Cooper is brought to the team. As long as we can bring in a really good head coach, we're going to be perfectly fine. Alexander Ovechkin, he had 40 goals. He did exactly what he had to do. That's why I brought him to the team. Lafreniere, 58 points. He's up to an 85 overall. I think he was already an 85 overall when we brought him in. So yeah, he really hasn't progressed. Meanwhile, Jack Reeves, the numbers are actually pretty solid. You're still an 84 overall. Jack Reeves is one man we can rely on. Best case scenario here is we somehow get the first overall pick, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Instead, the Columbus Blue Jackets are walking away with the 12th overall, but I could still probably turn that into something. Now, this actually might be the first time I've ever traded for Teuvo Teravainen so far in NHL 26. But we're trading for him today because he's an 87 overall, and I think he can be a very good player for us, potentially even a first-line player. Because I'm thinking right now, Alexander Ovechkin, Adam Fantilli, Teuvo Teravainen on the top line. That's pretty solid. Then when it comes to the second line, we're going to have Marchenko. Lafreniere will probably move down in order to be our playmaker. So what we should try to do is get a better centerman. I don't really know if Sean Monahan can be the guy, but he's an 85 overall. Maybe he can be. Voronkov will move down to the bottom 6 then. If we're able to give him a supporting piece, we'll actually have a pretty good top 9. Now, for once, I didn't trade all of our draft picks away. And I should have done that because, yeah, these picks didn't turn into anything. So what a waste of all those picks right there. That kind of sucks. So we got ourselves $15 million in cap space moving into the offseason. Mason Marchment, you're actually one guy I wouldn't mind bringing back, but not that price tag. There have been times where I've seen you sign for like $2 million, and that's what I was going to offer you. But you don't want $2 million. Cole Sillinger, here's $1.9 million. That's pretty solid. And then with everyone else, we're probably looking at two-way contracts. I mean, Zamula, I can give you $1.2 million, but hold on. There actually is one other player we need to give an extension to. Unless he is signed to a 2-year deal, I want to give him $17 million. He wants 1.7 and he doesn't want a two-way contract. That is ridiculous. Here you go. Dyson Mayo, welcome back. Now, before we make a lot of trades and free agent signings, like usual, we have to hand out extensions. I hate how every time I want to give Marchenko a deal, he only looks for 1 season. Like, why can't you do multiple seasons with me? Just help me out a little bit. Teuvo Teravainen, we should be able to get a pretty solid deal done with you. I'm probably thinking $7 million for the next 4. I like that contract. It's $1 million more than what you're getting paid right now, so it kind of makes sense for us. Denton Matejchuk, you're always willing to sign cheap deals, so here's 4.5 for the next 4 years. You can come back to this team. Voronkov, I probably am not going to give you a huge bag considering you're likely going to be playing bottom 6 minutes, so I'm not going to give you a deal. And then honestly, outside those deals right there, there's nothing for us to worry about. I'm also going to go trade Elvis Merzlikins because I don't want to pay him $5 million to be our backup. So the simplest way to trade him is just to use Trade Finder here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Merzlikins, where are you going to be taking your talents to? I guess you're going to the Dallas Stars. So we have $18 million and John Carlson on a 1-year deal. I see the vision, so maybe we should offer you a contract. I guess I can do $10.5 million for 1 season. I don't necessarily need you on the team, but you won't make us worse. And then when it comes to a guy like Kopitar, what if we did a 1-year deal? I did like $7.5 million and gave you a no movement. How does that sound? I know you're looking for 2 seasons right now, but I think this is a good deal. I'll actually give you $8 million for 1 season. Kopitar and John Carlson. Those would be 2 interesting pickups. Okay, we're good to go. We're competing for a Stanley Cup this season. That's a fact. Alright, I guess John Carlson won't be joining the team. Luckily, Teuvo Teravainen is going to be accepting an extension. Same with Denton Mateychuk. Kopitar's joining as well. We don't have to worry. Honestly, I wasn't really too worried about John Carlson because he doesn't really fill a role on this team. Like, we already have a decent enough right side. We don't need John Carlson. He can go to the Flames if he wants to. Now, when it comes to some other signings, Mason Marchment and Charlie Coyle, I can bring both of you back to the team here. Like, I technically traded Charlie Coyle away, but for $2.3 million, you can return. Now, outside of Charlie Coyle, there are a couple other guys I want to bring to the team. Luke Schen's going to be one of them. I'll give him $3 million with a no movement. I think that should be enough to convince Luke Schenn to join the team, and it looks like it is. And then we'll finish it off with a guy like James Schwartz, a St. Louis Blues legend. Here's $2.3 million. So here we go. It's the final season of the video, and why am I so confident it's going to be the final season? Well, we brought in John Cooper to be our head coach, so all of those problems that we had last season have now disappeared. Also, I brought in Martin Jones to be the backup goaltender. I didn't mention that. But Jack Reeves, it's finally time for you to win a Stanley Cup. It's time for us to end the video this season. Jack Reeves, Columbus, John Cooper, let's finish this off. It's actually kind of funny how confident I am in us winning a Stanley Cup this season just because we have John Cooper as our head coach now, but that's how big of a difference he's going to make. He's immediately going to turn us into an elite team. So after we brought John Cooper in, I thought we were guaranteed a Stanley Cup. I might have been wrong. 13th in the entire league, a 32, 22, and 7 record. We're not that great right now. 3.39 goals per game is really good. The defense is the problem. Like, we are not keeping the puck out of our net whatsoever. So I guess all we have to do here is fix the defense. Who is holding us back when it comes to the defense? Because once we figure that out, we're going to be taking over. Zach Greinke, you're -7. Why on earth are you -7? That doesn't make any sense. If anything, Zach Greinke should be dominating. Severson, maybe you shouldn't be playing on the top pairing anymore. You're an 89 overall. I take that back. I want you on the top pairing if you're an 89 overall. Denton Mateychuk, what overall are you? You're an 85. When it comes to the left side, Provorov, I don't really know if I need you here, but you're an 88 overall. Okay, apparently everyone is just a high overall on our defense, except nobody is playing well. So that makes sense. I mean, it could just be the fact that we don't really have a lot of defensive forwards on the team, but I can't really say that because we have Kopitar on our second line. This season is just very interesting for the team, and I don't want to overthink things, so we're not going to make any trades here because I really don't know what we're trying to fix here. Because I feel like on paper the team is good. We're just not performing very well. Now, although the Columbus Blue Jackets didn't look the greatest this season, we made it into the playoffs and we're 12th in the entire league. So in reality, are we that bad of a team? We were only 6 points back of the Nashville Predators. We were 8 points back of the Dallas Stars, 9 points back of the Edmonton Oilers, 9 points back of Washington, only 10 points back of Carolina. So in reality, we're actually a very good team right now. Alexander Ovechkin, 79 points. He had 47 goals. That's what I need from him. Zach Greinke, 74 points. Teuvo Teravainen, 65 points. The goal scoring numbers look good here. We just didn't keep the puck out of the net at all. Jack Reeves, the numbers don't look good. But those are your regular season stats. Your postseason stats, well, they're going to be on a different level. We're taking on Florida in the first round. We got to make a statement here. So Columbus, I need you to tee up here. I need you to absolutely lock in. Let's go on a run. Let's take down the Florida Panthers. We need to score 5 goals per game and then not allow any goals. And right now, Jet Greaves is keeping the puck out of the net. He has posted some elite numbers so far. It's a Jet Greaves masterclass. This man, Jet Greaves, is just locked in right now. Like, how many goals has he allowed? 7 goals over the course of 4 games? Nah, if Jet Greaves keeps on playing like this, no one's going to take us down. So we're moving on to the second round, and who do we get to take on? The Toronto Maple Leafs. I know for a fact we're not going to lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs here because Jet Greaves is on a different level. He's already won 4 games in a row. He's going to win another 4 games right here. We're winning game number 1. We're winning game number 2. This team just keeps on scoring, and we keep on keeping the puck out of our net. Jet Greaves is him. So we're moving into the conference finals. Carolina was 10 points ahead of us, but with the way that Columbus is playing, nobody is better than us. Okay, we are not looking good right now. We've won back-to-back games though. We need to make it 3 straight victories, but we're dropping game number 5. We can't go out like this. Jet Greaves, lock in. Up until this point, you have been a superstar. Give me a superstar performance right here. We're not allowing any goals in the first period, but we're not going to be scoring any. Moving into the second, can we pick up some goals? It looks like Ovi's going to be scoring 1, but 1 goal is not enough. We need to lock in the third period, and Voronkov is picking up a huge goal. That might be the difference maker. Well, I mean, it technically is the difference maker for this game. But what I really mean is that might be the difference maker in this series, because Carolina had the opportunity to eliminate us, but Jack Greaves said, nah, I'm going to lock in here. I'm not going to allow anyone to score on me, and I'm going to allow the Columbus Blue Jackets to win in Game 7 because that's what I'm about. We're in the Stanley Cup final. So in year number 2 with the Columbus Blue Jackets, we have made it to the Stanley Cup final, and this is perfect. The perfect ending to today's video. We get Minnesota in the Stanley Cup final. The last team we rebuilt outside of the Columbus Blue Jackets, we weren't able to see any success with Minnesota because we didn't get John Cooper as our head coach. But now we have John Cooper as our head coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we're winning in season number 2. Columbus is on top because of a Jack Greaves masterclass. Nah, we gotta respect the king. So just like that, we've completed today's video. We have rebuilt every team that hasn't won a Stanley Cup, and we won with the Columbus Blue Jackets because of one man. Not Zach Werenski, not Alexander Ovechkin, not Teravainen, but instead the GOAT in between the pipes, Jet Greaves. 16 wins, 4 losses, 1 shutout, a 934 and a 213. A team that a lot of people counted out. A team that people said don't have a shot at winning a Stanley Cup. But Jet Greaves just said, nah, I'm him. I am that guy. When the lights are the brightest, I'm gonna step up. We have won 10 Stanley Cups in today's video. I have no clue how long this video is. It's probably pushing 2.5 hours, but that is beside the point. 10 Stanley Cups in today's video. Jet Greaves is a Stanley Cup champion, and he's gonna go down as one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. That man really has that dog in him.